It is 6 a.m. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. Tennessee Titans training camp day one is in the books at Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park. Day two getting underway today with practice at 8:55 this morning. Head coach Brian Callahan will meet with the media ahead of practice this morning at 8:35. But yesterday, Cam Ward met with the media post-practice and gave a little insight into where his mind is at as his first NFL training camp is getting underway.
Mute everybody. Honestly, is my biggest thing. If you're not in the building, I really could care less about your opinion of myself or my teammates, and that's just how we're going to end up operating, because then people in the building are only people who know what we go through day in, day out. And so, just keep it the main thing. And, as we get into doing joint practices, get into preseason, to season, just trying to put one foot in front of another and try to win a lot of games this year.
In other Titans news, the Titans made a few additions yesterday. Late last night, per Jordan Schultz, the Titans signed former Minnesota Vikings linebacker Jihad Ward. Ward played all 17 games for the Vikings last season, starting two. Saw action on 467 defensive snaps and 78 on special teams, totaling 10 tackles, 14 quarterback hits, and a sack. The Titans will be Ward's seventh team since entering the league in 2016 as a second-round draft pick to the Raiders. Ward has a career of 168 tackles, 19 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, and 8 passes defended. The Titans also signed former Falcons and Giants defensive lineman Timmy Horn and former Lions running back Jamar Jefferson to the camp roster as well. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Thursday morning on Ramon and Will live from Tennessee Titans training camp day number 2. Good morning and welcome in live here with football practice imminent alongside an 11-year NFL veteran, Ramon Foster. Justin Hawkins back at our 104.5 The Zone studios. He is Kirby Allen Kirby, keeping us between the navigational beacons here in person. I'm Will Bowling. Coming up this morning, Coach Dave McGinnis joins us at 8:20. Voice of the Titans, Taylor Zarzour, going to stop by the table at 9 a.m. this morning. Practice number 2 with Brian Callahan, speaking with the media at 8:35. Lots to react to and lots to get ready for today. Ramon Foster from Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park. Good morning.
Yes, it is, man. Today, camp settles in, Will. We're in it. Yesterday was welcome back to school. You know what I'm saying? It was first day of school. What kind of shoes you got on, man? Let me see your outfit. Did you go anywhere fun over the summer? Today is where it's like, okay, it's day 2 of many, many, many more to go. Yeah, it's a small dot on the calendar is what I'm telling you now.
It did feel that way a little bit yesterday. Yeah. Like the coaches were still trying to, build you up a little bit. That way they can tear you down very soon. Hey, maybe today is the beginning of the tearing down process.
You best believe that. And then they can't embarrass you in front of the fans on the first day like that. You got sweet, innocent eyes out here with the kids. Heck, they were out here getting ice cream.
Do coaches really does that make a difference? Fans being here, hey, well, let's put on a little bit of a show. Do they care?
Hell no.
That's what I thought. I was going to say, that would surprise me.
No, I joked about that, but
okay.
but no, they did not care. No, that was the right question to ask. So I think the first day of welcome back and hey, we're glad to see you and be around you, and they don't want to get anybody, hurt on the first day with overdoing it.
Sure.
But what I think is this, that first day of pads, you'll see some red eyes out here from the coaches is what I'm telling you. On that day, though, there will be the mission to break you off, because there's nothing more a coach want to see is will you or will you not when it comes to physicality.
It is funny because I think it's partly just with the earlier start time of practice. Mm-hmm. The past couple of years, I don't know, I guess last year, really it was the same time getting started. Around 9 a.m. was when practice would start and everything would get going. But isn't it obvious just the Cam Ward effect and how many more cars are here this early in the morning?
Bro.
Because there are a lot more players and people making their way into this building as we get here in the mornings than there ever was the past couple of years when we've been doing this.
In years past, yeah, 100%. I can see that too, but But again, sometimes in that leadership stuff, Will, as it pertains to guys dragging you to the finish line without you having to even know, or the expectation being raised, like that's what it is. Like you feel it. To be quite honest with you, I was probably a 6:30 to 7 o'clock guy in my earlier years. Like my rookie year, probably before, and I hate to keep referencing him like this, but I got to use my history and how I came in this league. But it was a guy in particular, man, in Marquise Pouncey that I played with, the center. We were in the building no later than like 5:20. You know what I'm saying? And it was the infectious side of like, hey, this is how we're going to operate. We get our work in, we get done sooner. And that became our thing. Then it became others' thing. Like, it used to be guys want to live right before practice or after practice. Sure. You know what happens in those moments right there. You don't feel like it. And the bigger group, to your point, Will, does start to go in that trend when they see it working too. So there'll be a lot of changes I probably expect, though, because of how publicly now too we're talking about Cam Ward showing up at 5 o'clock. Now I will say Oladejo yesterday was just like, nah, I'm not a 5 a.m. guy. He's like, I'm getting in by 6 o'clock. He's like, I'm up at 5. He was like, but he's getting in at 6. So a lot of people will sprint to adapt to this new change. And that's why also that number one pick is more than just the player.
It is. It absolutely is. You get the right guy, that guy has a positive impact on everybody wearing the uniform.
No doubt about it, man. It's a beautiful process in watching this reshift itself. Now, I will say, too, we got to give an award each day we come out here.
Really? Okay.
Rhett gave it to, I think, Iu Manor yesterday.
Elikai Manor.
Iu Manor, who was the wide receiver.
Ripley, Tennessee comes out when you say Iu Manor.
And like McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? McDonald's.
Iu Manor.
Iu Manor.
Elikai Manor on the cap.
It was. Tajay's already stepped foot out here. He was over in the corner over there. Okay. Yep.
He's usually barefoot, too, because he likes to walk around barefoot.
And he was. Nice. Do you know there's a science behind that?
Yes, I do, because we, in, again, my glory days of being a
Come on, man.
not very athletic athlete, I would do strides or like runs at the end of practice. Like sometimes they'd encourage us to do the last 10 minutes of our run on the turf around the football field barefoot.
Get out of here. Just to build up
lower
those small
ankle muscles. Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
That way you step on a rock on a cross-country course, your ankle doesn't totally give out. You don't fall over.
That sounds miserable.
Stuff like that.
It legitimately
that's
sounds
what I thought.
miserable.
I don't know. There's probably a more specific reason behind it, but that's always what I thought.
But you know what's crazy? You mentioning that mentally we all do dumb stuff that we think.
Yeah, exactly.
That
we think it's like a science, when in reality it's just our little routine, and it just makes us feel like we're doing something special. Yeah.
And it ain't nothing but it's something.
Yeah,
that's
exactly
essentially what it is, man. So that was pretty cool. Also, yesterday I had a trek to Knoxville, man.
Yeah, you did. We're going to talk about that this morning.
Dog.
Some news out of Knoxville about a starter that may be not a starter anymore. But how was the trip? How was the vibe at we were dividing and conquering yesterday. We were at two different camps.
We were,
even though fall camp doesn't start till later, I guess next week. But still lots of stuff going on.
Lots of ongoings, man. The interview with Sam was freaking
Sam
phenomenal.
Pendleton,
Yeah, it was Sam
potential
Pendleton.
center or guard for Tennessee, Notre Dame transfer.
Absolutely. But here's the thing, man, about going to Knoxville. I love it every single time, dog. I'm talking about. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because, and Kirby can probably relate to this in some sense. We all probably have an attachment to what we were raised up like going into adulthood with, and I think that's Knoxville for me. But the drive in itself is a beautiful one. In the fall, absolutely love it. But it's the most predictable, unpredictable road I've ever met in my entire life. Since 2004, that has been construction city. It has been breakdown lane. It has been slow down. Temple is what it is going to Knoxville. It is I don't know, the reason I call it the most predictable, unpredictable road is you can predict it's going to be something. It's unpredictable on where it's going to be at.
That's fair.
And it was something there and back. And I was just like, you know what? Just be cool.
Well, especially, too, with a 2-lane interstate, the way we have it. I mean, one truck going a little bit too slow in the left lane, and all of a sudden your whole trip is derailed.
Oh, let me tell you about.
I should not have gotten you started.
Triggered me, okay? Listen, I love my big truck drivers. I get out y'all way. I double flash y'all to let y'all in front of me. Whoa, I flash my lights. Don't double flash.
Whoa, wait a minute.
Wait.
How do you do that while you're driving?
Hate him.
That's crazy.
Don't need that visual curving.
Double flash.
Double flash. No, I double tap my flashes and let them over. I give them the right of way. Y'all kings of the road, man, and I probably got some packages on y'all truck, okay? So let me move over.
Probably.
But yesterday, dog, there was a lane merging. The signs weren't up yet, and I guess he probably got the call or was like, hey, everybody's merging right. And I'm behind him. I'm like, why are you holding up? This dude in front of me had probably about a quarter of a mile or half a mile of just blockage where he was just slow rolling it. And I was just like, we can still go and merge. Like, you're probably hurting traffic more because everybody did move right, and it was super slow. Mm-hmm. And then he finally gets over, and I buzz right past him, and he nudges back over to the left. I'm like, broski, don't do this, because there's a pathway for me to get in front of you and somebody let me merge too. But that was one of those moments I'm like, he taking his job a little bit too serious.
There were two of you, and you were tangoing.
We were tangoing, and I was running late. That was the other part, and I was just like, broski, that's why my frustration was so high on the most predictable, unpredictable road in Tennessee.
Yesterday, the Titans agreed to terms with linebacker Jihad Ward, first reported by Jordan Schultz. Played in all 17 games for the Minnesota Vikings last season. He started 2. He saw action on just under 500 defensive snaps, 78 on special teams. Another big-bodied edge rusher, Ramon, who has quite the personality, according to stuff that I read yesterday, nicknamed Hottie. Jihad Ward, a 31-year-old who has been a journeyman. The Titans will be his 7th team since the Raiders drafted him in the 2nd round in 2016. He was selected by Titans front office advisor Reggie McKenzie.
Hey,
so there is the connection to the front office. But 1 sack last year for Minnesota, a guy who for Minnesota played at times over the center and was an interior rusher, but has also been an edge rusher through a lot of his career. Closer to 275, 280 pounds, maybe more like a Draymond Jones type addition again, but much needed pass rush help for a defense that unexpectedly lost Lorenzo Carter to retirement on Monday.
And I'm also looking at this too. You mentioned his body type. Well, it's clear that it's being understated that this front office is getting to a, hey, we will not get bodied in the run game.
Right. I agree.
And just looking at both sides of the ball, Will, the emphasis, which smart teams do, if you're going to rebuild this thing up from the boats, controlling the line of scrimmage.
Sure.
That seems to be the theme that is going to be moving forward for this squad, I feel like. And people probably going to get tired of these big body guys coming in, or you may not have the sack experts.
No, the O-line will get tired of the big body guys coming in.
Listen.
I can tell what perspective you're speaking
from.
Tell
as old, you know what I'm saying? Tell as old as ever. Well, what I'm telling you is this, though. There's a understated, I think, topic of how they're trying to formulate this template of D-line, O-line. And hearing these edge guys being 280, well, I'm going to be quite honest with you, that's a 3-tech in the NFL. Right.
Well, I think it's also, too, just the profile of player that was available for them to pick up. Jihad Ward is another guy who has been healthy and who has been available. He has played all 17 games each of the last 4 seasons.
Good.
To me, that's less about, hey, we want a 285-pound edge rusher, and more so, hey, this is the best profile of player that we can get right now, and we'd rather do that than take a risk on maybe some other guys who are out there that we feel like aren't going to be available, who might be 245 or 250.
Yeah. And then it's the durability side of that, too. Like, I know they're talking about all that weight ain't good weight, but sometimes if you built the right way, it works for what you want out of it.
If you're playing 17 games in 4 straight seasons, I think you're built the right way.
Yeah, best believe it, man.
615-737-1045. We are up and running at 1045 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. And again, later in the show, thank you, Kirby, with the Twitch, please. If you hop in the YouTube comment section, we will do another Ask Us Anything from camp and let you guys take the reins on who you want to hear about, who you want to talk about as practice begins at 8:55 this morning. So, again, we appreciate you watching on Facebook Live, Twitter, or Twitch, but we invite you to go to the 1045 The Zone YouTube channel. That is the best place for our community to interact, for the F&M Bank chat to be lively, and for you all to talk directly to us from training camp. So we'd appreciate you if you joined us there. Day 1 practice takeaways coming up, what we saw from Cam Ward, and the one player for me who stood out the most yesterday from Titans training camp practice number 1. All that and more next as we broadcast live from Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park. Ramon and Will, fueled by Scooters Coffee on 104.5 The Zone. Ramon and Will, fueled by Scooters Coffee on 104.5 The Zone, live from Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park. Tennessee Titans Training Camp 2025 is off and running. 615-737-1045, the number. Scooters Coffee is all around Middle Tennessee, and they are locally owned. Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. Amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast. Ramon, yesterday was not the most exhilarating day of football practice I've ever seen, and that is not a bad thing.
Right.
Cam Ward was efficient. He completed his first 4 passes. He was 7 of 8 in 7-on-7 periods, victimized by a couple of drops, one overthrow to Calvin Ridley, but overall just 5 passes that hit the ground yesterday. From Cam, who you will hear from later in the show, he called yesterday's practice mid. That's how you know you have a Gen Z quarterback, isn't it?
Yes, it is, man. His communication is a little bit different.
But, Ramon, I'm not going to go as far to say practice was boring. To us, it's football. Nothing is really that boring in terms of football. But walk me through this, because a methodical, easy, no huge explosive plays, but not really any big mistakes kind of practice with a rookie quarterback is perfectly fine, isn't it?
Yes, it is, man. To be quite honest with you, it's just the bread being made right there. You know what I'm saying? It's not the meat and everything else that's in between the sides and the drink that come with it. Like, it's all right just to have a little bread and water from time to time, and that's cool. Cam saying that, of course, a quarterback like himself that's been an exciting player always want those types of things all the time, but that's not realistic in the NFL. You're going to meet a defense, man, one day that is just hell to deal with. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just that day to where they're just on you, and it's a matter of who's going to fold or crack first. And that's why I think it's super important for Cam. And I don't think he minimized that type of stuff. It's just what his expectations are, I guess. But it's some days where you're going to play somebody like those old Patriot defenses that wait on you to make a mistake. And I think it's proper for Coach Callahan and his crew with this offense, with the rookie quarterback also, to slow walk this thing into build up. You don't want this to be a, hey, we're chucking it down the yard 12 times a practice just to appease you. That's not growth. That's not build up. That's not being in a position to show guys how the NFL is, because, Will, this is a very marginal, small margins of like good versus great or good versus bad. Mm-hmm. And it's days like yesterday or even today to where I heard you guys after I left saying, hey, check down. This is a check down.
In the flat, over the middle, yeah,
but
right.
then it's also, Will, you set defenses up that way also. Mm-hmm. You lull them to sleep by doing the small things. Like, what are we looking for? First downs. We're looking for a continuation of holding onto the ball, being a possessive type of team. Because there's going to be the defenses, I feel like, they're going to try to attack this offense with as much newness and the rookie that you have. They're going to try to light you up. So understand where the ball is and getting that foundation is the most important thing for him. For him, it was boring. But for the guys that's up front, like I would tell him, bro, you got to consider. It may have just been light work for you or mid for you, but we also are still battling 300-pound men on the other side. Your operation is a little bit different than ours, but I get it.
I thought he was good. I thought the play of the day, a play-action screen pass to Tajay Spears, who we're going to talk more about here in a minute, that was well blocked and a good throw by Cam, again, understanding where the pressure was. Mm-hmm. Cam spoke after practice and talked about the area where he wants to continue to improve being understanding those slide protections and understanding, all right, who does the back have, and helping out his running backs to understand who they need to be blocking. There was one play where Roger McCreary was blitzing, and that confused him a little bit or just challenged him to get the ball out, and he had to get it out a little bit too quickly. But we're going to talk more about Cam's timing in hour 2, Ramon.
Yeah.
That continues to be the thing that impresses me the most about him, is just his ability to understand when the ball needs to come out and where it needs to go. And that is half the battle for me, not only just for young quarterbacks, but for someone that is I feel like the floor of a Cam Ward practice is pretty high already, because the ball's at least going somewhere. Like, that's half the battle. Is the ball coming out at all? And are you getting it on time where it needs to go? Like, I don't care yet if it's only going 5 yards down the field or at most 10 yards down the field on the first day of training camp. Just that the ball is getting released on time, I think is a win already for Cam Ward and his development.
It is, man, and it helps develop everybody else, too. Timing of where guys are supposed to be. You remember earlier in this offseason, who was it, Calvin, or was it one of his young rookie wide receivers? Like, if I'm not where I'm at, I'm late. Cam's never late. You remember that comment earlier this spring?
Yes, I think that was Calvin who said that.
Yes, I think so. And that's part of it, too. We spoke a little bit yesterday, as to pull the curtain back, on, just different types of quarterbacks. Some of them are gunslingers that like to improv. I played with a quarterback, man, that could throw you off his shoulders and make a play and just look at you and laugh. You know what I'm saying? But then there's other types of quarterbacks like a Tom Brady, a Peyton Manning that you hear. They went into those meetings at the beginning of training camp, and they set up the meeting and how they wanted the wide receivers. What was an offensive coordinator, those guys? They didn't need them. You know what I'm saying? Like a Josh McDaniels or whoever, the Colts offensive coordinator. They didn't need them because the quarterbacks commanded so much of timing, the respect of the play, and also just the integrity of how you're going to run your routes. I continually hear, and I don't ever want to compare Cam at this point because he's a one-of-one himself. But the conversation of how Brady would have his wide receivers run the route over and over again to hit an exact spot, and it was timing. We speak a lot about Tom Brady's arm strength, right?
Yep.
It wasn't necessarily his arm strength. It was his accuracy and his timing that made him great.
Being a surgeon against defenses.
And that is so clutch to your point. Yeah. The timing of what he has is more matter of fact than almost anything else. And I heard Calvin speak on it a little bit yesterday. Is like that doesn't happen because there's a lot to compute. There's a lot of newness to it. But I'll say this too, this is still preseason with them going against their own defense. But you want that to operate because what coaches also don't want this time of the year is wasted plays to where you just simply got to chuck it into the ground. So at least you're going somewhere. What happens after practice with when they go back in is they'll meet and they'll say, okay, you went here, but look, if this play develops a little bit longer, here's what we also have available.
Sure. His processing speed is quick. You can see Cam at times going to his second or third options. He does look a bit more comfortable in 7-on-7, but he's that type of quarterback that is always going to, I think, be comfortable within that setting. Yeah, right. I mean, I think that's partly the era of quarterbacking he grew up in. I think it's partly his skill set as being a shotgun spread quarterback a little bit. And I think this offense is going to adjust to his skill set, no doubt. Within that as well. Jarvis Brownlee, I noticed yesterday on defense, I think he is someone that is, just getting in shape yesterday. He made a play against Traylon Burks one-on-one where Cam made a good throw. It was to the near sideline on that red line about 5 yards beyond the sideline where you want to win the red line if you're running those vertical routes. And a perfect throw from Cam, perfect defense from Brownlee who kind of jarred the football loose as Traylon Burks went to the ground. And Traylon's still a guy that is learning how to just not hit the ground. Then you kind of take a deep breath and just kind of grimace and tighten up a little bit, and not in the tighten up fun way when Traylon goes down because he just goes down a lot. But I thought that was a good example of good offense against good defense because it was a heavy blitz against Cam. He recognizes where the pressure is coming from. He takes the snap. He sees Burks and just tosses it up there. My guy against yours. Now, the challenge for this Titans offense is the rebuild being a work in progress. It is hard to play those my guy against your guy passes when your guys in the wide receiver room are potential guys, plus Calvin Ridley. Understood. And that, I think, is where Elikiah Manor becoming a legitimate outside threat and a big-bodied receiver that can come down with some of those passes is going to be really valuable and advantageous because Cam is not always just looking to check it down or get out of the pocket or find some kind of quick, you talk about throws being hot, right? Like quarterbacks, a part of their processing, the thought process is always, all right, where am I going if I'm hot? Meaning, if I've got a free rusher in my face, what is the quick throw that I've got to make? Cam goes window shopping a little bit, where he is still trying to take some shots when throws are hot like that. We saw a good example yesterday of what that would look like, and Jarvis Brownlee defensively one-upping Traylon Burks within that.
Yeah, no, to your point, the way Cam seems to be to me, and like I said, I hadn't had a whole lot of interaction with him per se, and I've seen him, heard a lot of people speak about him, but he seems to be a guy that believes in himself, and in that, he shows that he can believe in his guys. And I'll allude to this: if you are a weak-minded person that can't do your job or have issues with doing it consistently, I got a feeling he's the type that's probably going to keep that ball to himself and go to somebody else. Meaning, in those moments yesterday, I'm not saying he's probably, side-eyeing Traylon Burks on the drop and the fall to the ground and stuff like that. But quarterbacks like him, they don't waste throws, is what I'm getting at. If he, to your point, Will, is going down the field and taking that shot, and he's as anal as they say he is and as precise to give his guys a chance, you need to bring the ball in.
He's an alpha.
Yeah.
He's the definition of an alpha.
I've seen quarterbacks. My quarterback, you didn't catch that? Okay, well, you're not going to get another one. You know what I'm saying? Like, to your point, like that stuff, if they're going down the field, has to be brought in more times. That's now that's one pass. But that's the exciting part, too, of having a guy like him is that there's an opportunity. It wasn't much of an overthrow from my understanding. It was a catchable ball. Now,
it was definitely catchable.
You bring those in, or they're going to find somebody in free agency or the next year's draft. And that's a part of this rebuild, too, that this Titans is in. When we speak about where this squad is that's why I think is the conversation has been Alec Ayumaner has been, a little bit better of a prospect so far in training camp, is because I think he has good catch ratings. You look at his tape, he can go behind and bring the ball in. He's good with the ball in the air.
Well, he just kind of glides too. I mean, he's such an interesting athlete, just in the size and frame that he's got, but then his ability to make guys miss and win at the point of attack as a big dude. Like, he looks like a big-bodied target, throw it up, power forward, wide receiver, but sometimes he moves like a shooting guard a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, but the other part of that, too, you say you overthrew Calvin. I wonder if the question was asked, well, whose fault was it, yours or his at this point, too, because throwing the deep ball is hard. I think we minimize, like, just throw it deep. Like, that timing, that, fighting guys off on the red line to get to your spot, hopefully that's something that works itself out, because it was a storyline last year. Whether it was right or wrong, it was with the way last year's quarterbacks was, since we're not using the L word.
Yeah, that's right. Moratorium here on the show.
It was a great time yesterday.
You can stream the show live, 104.5 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch at 104.5 The Zone TV, where you follow the show, and we invite you to subscribe if you were there on the Zone YouTube channel. Ramon, there was one offensive player that stood out the most to me yesterday, my standout of the day. Maybe we could find some kind of snappy name for this, like Will's winner of the day on day one of camp. All right, perfect. There we go. That's what I name my bracket every year in March Madness, Will's winners.
Stop. And you finish in 5th place every time,
right,
they say.
Easy. Out of maybe 50. Tyjae Spears yesterday, I thought, stood out more than anybody. I thought he had a really, really good day. He turned a screen pass from Cam Ward into a big gain. Cam had to make that throw with a lot of pressure in his face, one of those where you're faking it to the back, you're rolling out, and then you're going back to the back. Yeah. And it was a well-called offensive play as well against a blitz. So, again, screen passes like that are going to typically work when you're blitzed, because that is what screen passes are ultimately for, is to take advantage of the aggressiveness of the defense. But I thought Tyjae had a couple of really nice runs. I mean, between the tackles, finding some space, and one of the outside right in the first team period where he got the edge and made a couple of guys miss. And again, you take these things with a grain of salt, especially with running backs in camp, because they're not being tackled to the ground. And so much of their jobs and so much of the linebackers' jobs is the ability to get those guys on the ground. Yeah. So it is what it is at this point early in camp. We don't have pads on yet, and you take these things for what they're worth. But I thought it was a really good start for Tyjae Spears yesterday.
More than anything, you're saying he moved like a guy that had on a mission.
For sure. And some of those between the tackles, too, and just quick cuts. He looked quick. He looked agile. He looks healthy. And looks like he's ready for a good camp and a good season.
Can we reminisce on something real quick, too, as it pertains to Tyjae Spears? You remember the big conversation pre-draft after he got drafted about the non-ACL stuff? Isn't it amazing how we don't have to have that conversation with the pre-draft?
Well, not about the ACL stuff. It's more about the concussions.
The concussions.
And going in the protocol twice last year.
And that's something I'm sure, like I said, going into this offseason for himself, I would expect him to have done to that point about the concussions, a lot of neck muscle workouts, you know what I'm saying? And that probably sounds weird. How can you work out your neck? Well, they have this device where you can strap around your head, and with a weight attached to it, you can move it up and down, side to side. You have coaches also manually work the neck too. Like, I don't think people understand, like, concussions sometimes, yeah, they come from a hit. They come from a direct hit. It's a very physical sport, but a lot of time it's from a weak neck. And I'm not saying his neck or anybody else's is weak, but it needs to be a point of emphasis when you play football. You get hit and you hit the ground, your head flash back.
It's the snapping
it's
of
the
your
snapping
head.
of the head. Because I don't think he took a big hit last year. So it's just one of those things, man, just being aware of contact in those moments. And he lost a little bit of time last year because of those things and that progress that was lost too, as he's currently out here imaginarily toting a football and cutting right now. What a beautiful space. This is why camp is so friggin' dope. You get to come out here and do this type of stuff. And you know what? Ain't nobody better not say a daggone thing to you. He could be out here doing cartwheels all the way down the field, and you know what I would say? He's working on his shoulders. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't a soul need to say a thing to him. Look at these fake running plays right now.
The question I have, Ramon, is do you think Tyjae Spears listens to the song Neck while he does neck exercises?
Hey, he from Louisiana.
Hey-o.
Listen now.
Working out my neck. Chick. That was not good.
Yeah, exactly.
Not my best, not my worst. 615-737-1045 is our number. One player we're going to hear from coming up next, a part of a small group that got to catch up with Titans rookie Jackson Slater yesterday. Dawn Davenport and Ramon Foster have this discussion that happens a lot.
She the homie, though.
We love Dawn Davenport. This is a pro Dawn Davenport show. But Dawn Davenport does not love FCS linemen in the NFL. Jackson Slater told me something interesting yesterday. I had a quick one-on-one with him at the end of practice about one thing he specifically has to change about his game because of where he went to college that I think is very interesting. You'll hear from him coming up next. 615-737-1045 on Ramona Will, fueled by Scooters Coffee, live from Titans training camp at 1045 The Zone. Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone is fueled by Scooters Coffee. Wrapping up hour number 1. Visit a locally owned location near you in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. Amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast. Looking forward to getting Ramon's reaction to a quick visit with Jackson Slater yesterday. Coming off the practice field. Rookie out of Sacramento State. Solid FCS program for him on the offensive line. Going from that level to this level, Ramon, what is the biggest adjustment that he is going to have to make it as an interior offensive lineman in the league?
Man, the talent that he has to see every single play, every single day. Somebody literally trying to and can rip his face off. I don't think you see that at that level often. Now, you may meet one or two of those dudes, but that's something that's a little bit more complex for guys like him. So as quick as he can get up to speed, have the strength that's necessary to battle these guys too, I think that plays a huge part. And more times than not, there's good coaches everywhere, but the amount of information of the coaches from one level to the next, I think is a little bit different. I'm speaking about technique. Schemes is a part of it too. Everybody can play football, but there's different levels of playing football. That's why, like youth sports, they tell you if you want to be competitive, go to this type of place.
Sure.
Play against these types of guys. It matters because you're not surprised anymore. I would almost bet the first couple of days in pass for a guy like Jackson Slater, he's gonna be in the blender because you hadn't seen movement and power and you told me a little bit of it, so I know where it's going, but like your ability to use your technique to save you. That's why we're speaking about like Cam doing the simple stuff first, because at the end of the day, it's the simple stuff that saves you. That's why when you have a coach like Coach Bill Callahan, it's not about what type of athlete you are. It's not about what type of movements you have. It is every single day he's going to have them on Big Bertha, the punching machines, doing the basics, because the basics is what save you. And a lot of times coming into the NFL, guys don't have that down. Or the expectation of why you go to Michigan, right? Or Tennessee or Georgia or Alabama, you're ahead of the curve with not discussing the technique stuff.
So here he is, Jackson Slater, post-practice. You hear News 2's Cordy Curtis in on this discussion as well, on talking about the adjustments he is making in his first Titans training camp.
Belt, how's it feel to get this one done?
Yeah, I mean, it's good. I mean, it's definitely, you feel more confident after OTAs, and you kind of get an introduction to NFL football. So being able to come back and kind of get the wheels rolling again instead of, just coming in and not really knowing what you're doing, definitely felt a lot better. So it's good being out there for sure.
I know you don't want to be the guy to slow things down.
Right.
You feel like you're in that spot where you're not that guy?
Yeah, I think so. I think I've come along pretty well. I think, you can always be sharper on your plays, quicker on your technique. So I'm always working on that stuff, but correct. You don't want to be the guy that's messing up and slowing everything down for sure.
You're at Sacramento State, and now you come out here and you got 98 and 93 across from you. What is that like? Yeah, I mean, they're a challenge for sure. They're both really great players. I think, for me personally, coming from the FCS, that's what you want to see. You want to see those players that, across the whole defensive line, it's, guys that are really talented, and you got to bring your best every time. So, it's definitely focused for me. Is this hot or just another day of camp?
I mean, it gets pretty humid and hot out here, so I think I'm still acclimating a little bit, but we're getting there.
What is different about Bill Callahan and the way he coaches you versus maybe some of the other offensive line coaches you've had?
Yeah, I think he cares about his guys a ton, and I think his biggest thing is getting the best he can out of you. So, there's not a whole lot of room for error with him for sure, which is a great thing. I think, if you do it the way he wants you to do it, it's successful, and having that much detail, I think, is going to help me as a player for sure.
Was there anything he specifically wanted you working on between the OTAs and minicamp and now?
Yeah, I think, for me, it's like I'm still a very raw player. Coming from FCS, you don't have to necessarily have the best technique on everything to be successful. So it's really just focusing on technique, posture, hand usage, all that good stuff that makes a good offensive lineman. So
yeah, that was what I was going to ask, is what is kind of the specific thing, what's your main focus today? Is there one part of the technique you're specifically trying to just get under your belt first?
Yeah, I think, in pass protection, it's the posture piece. I think in my career as a player, haven't had the best posture and pass protection. So for me personally, and coming from Bill too, that was one of the main focuses. So I'm always thinking about that for sure.
What's it like working with Cam, and just how much of a leader has he already been, not just for your class but for this team? And where are you seeing him maybe grow more comfortable? Like, do you see a difference in him between June to now?
Yeah, I mean, to me, he's always been a great player and a better teammate. I think just one of the guys that can mess around and have a good time, but also puts in all the work that's necessary. So it's been really fun to watch him, and I'm excited for him this season. So
awesome, man.
Cool.
It's Jackson Slater, Titans rookie, catching up post-practice yesterday, working on the posture, working on things that he says he couldn't get away with now that he did at Sacramento State.
Yeah, no. Welcome to the league, big boy. But that's I'll be quite honest with you, that's mostly a rookie thing too, just in general. Like I always bring up, these guys are in a position that are playing against dudes that are 6-7 years into the game and seeing everything under the sun. So it's a matter of minimizing his movements, understanding how to use his body in those moments too, and not getting down when you get beat. Like I look at him and say, this is probably the way he's talking, probably going to be a red shirt year for him if he does end up making some element of his team. He's a practice squad type unless he overly proves himself. I bring this up often. Like, each level you go up, the wasted movement has to minimize each level you go up from middle school, high school, college to the NFL, because the expertise that these guys play with and how skilled they are at their positions is something that he's learning right now. It's kind of cool to hear him acknowledge that, because here's what he should be writing in his book every single day: minimize movement, usage of hands, where are my feet at? We speak about the quarterbacks and their footwork and stuff, right? This is the exact same thing for offensive linemen. Like his body movements, it probably starts with his feet first. When you play at those levels, man, like, he is the big fish, clearly, at Sacramento State.
Sure.
Now he's playing against a bunch of sharks, and that type of stuff will get you fired if you can't minimize it.
Well, that's the tough thing about evaluating high school linemen going into college and college linemen going into the NFL. Like, who are you playing against?
Yeah.
Are you just a people mover with no technique who is bigger and faster and stronger than the defensive lineman you're going up against? Or are you a technician and a student of the game to understand, like, no, I'm not just bigger than you. I can move you and leverage your body and weight the way that I want you to. That's the challenge. And I think that's maybe even harder for high school going into college, because there are some high school linemen that are 4 and 5 stars that are playing against 190-pound nose tackles, like, legitimately at some levels. So maybe it's not quite the same thing, but certainly the challenge in evaluating big guys. Yeah. Especially big guys who didn't go to SEC schools. Because that's still, and I think Big Ten football is catching up in that regard. But, Ramon, the gap between linemen in the SEC and everyone else's linemen is still significant enough to make the SEC the best conference in college football and make the Big Ten the second best conference in college football. But there's a trickle-down effect to that the gap between FBS defensive linemen and FCS defensive linemen is quite big.
I would almost just say it's just proof of concept in those moments right there. I do look at the Big Ten, the Ohio States, the Michigans, the Penn State that have had top 5 in the last few years, and I think this is where I almost feel like with a guy like Jackson Slater, they went against the grain a little bit with what they said he wanted as a player in his introduction, Coach Callahan, because he said he wanted the big program player. He wanted guys that had proven themselves in big-time moments, and I wonder what they saw on Jackson Slater's film to want to draft him later in the draft. So I would look at the competition more than the actual player in those moments right there, because, again, if you're good, they're going to come get you. I just question a little bit of the Jackson Slater side of it. Maybe he had the nastiness that they want to pour into more than just for the right now.
Well, and you draft, it's ideal to draft linemen before you need linemen.
100%.
At every position, with the exception of maybe a top 10 overall left tackle that you are always going to put in right away. Like, the Titans drafted Taylor Lewan with Michael Roos still on the team. Like, even then, you would like to be able to have linemen adjust even when they come from that top level or the SEC or Big Ten level. But I think you hope that Jackson Slater is your future right guard or future center.
Seriously, think about where you are with Kevin Zeitler. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
You want to plan for this future, and if Coach Callahan can get a raw specimen like himself in to teach him these techniques, if he wants to learn, he'll be all right.
Coming up, the Titans have made a bit of a surprising roster move this morning. The player that they have cut to make room for the man they call Hottie, Jihad Ward, who was added to the roster yesterday afternoon. We will tell you who that is. Plus, Ramon was in Knoxville yesterday. We'll get his thoughts on a Tennessee Vols team that is getting ready for fall camp. And Adam Sparks with a bit of a troubling report about one Tennessee star as well. All that and more coming up next as Hour 2 begins after this on 104.5 The Zone.
It is 7 o'clock. Good morning, live from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Tennessee Titans training camp day 1 is in the books at Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park. Day 2 getting underway today with practice at 8:55 this morning. Head coach Brian Callahan will take to the media ahead of practice at 8:35. But yesterday, Cam Ward, quarterback of the Tennessee Titans, met with the media post-practice and mentioned the potential the Titans wide receivers and offense could be in his first NFL season.
Real good, just from an understanding of how they're going to run their routes, to them understanding, my ball placement where it needs to be, allow them to make plays up the field. But we got a talented group of receivers, tight ends as well, and running backs who can, make plays in the check down game and in the run game. So, just the pieces that we have, I think we're one of the top, we're capable of being one of the top offenses in the league.
In other Titans news, this morning the Titans released defensive lineman Keandre Coburn as the move clears way for an addition that was made last night in former Minnesota Vikings linebacker Jihad Ward. Ward played all 17 games for the Vikings last season, starting 2 and totaled 10 tackles, 14 quarterback hits, and a sack as well. The Titans will be Ward's 7th team since entering the league back in 2016 as a second-round draft pick to the Raiders. Ward has a career of 168 tackles, 19 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, and 8 passes defended. The Titans also had a couple moves yesterday, signing former Falcons and Giants defensive lineman Timmy Horn and former Lions running back Jamar Jefferson to the camp roster as well. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go for hour number 2, 7 a.m. live from Tennessee Titans training camp. Hope you're having a good morning. Hope we can make it a little bit better for you. Ramon Foster, Will Bowling, Robert Walsh, Kirby Allen, Kirby, all present and accounted for here at Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park. Justin Hawkins, our producer, back at the 104.5 The Zone studios, and we stream the show live for you. 104.5 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. First reported this morning by Paul Kaharski and paulkaharski.com, the Titans, Ramon Foster, are releasing defensive tackle Keandre Coburn as the corresponding move as they add pass rusher Jihad Ward this morning. Are you surprised to hear that?
Very much so. I didn't look at him as no bottom of the roster type, though. I thought he would play a role. He made a couple plays last year for this team, been around, knows Coach Rocker. He wasn't a bottom of the roster guy. I'm shocked by that one. Unless he came in heavier or lighter or out of shape or he hadn't applied himself, he wasn't on my radar as far as that goes. Now, that could be telling, too, because they probably only have room for one nose tackle per se. And like I said, looking at the way they've signed these bigger body guys, Jihad Campbell and others, like I'm looking to say, like they probably feel better about how they're positioning themselves to defend the run.
Jihad Ward,
my
Campbell
bad.
Was the Alabama linebacker.
Campbell. Jeez, that's on me. My bad, Mr. Ward. Like he's listening to us this morning. Probably not working out right now. Okay, he might be.
Who's to say?
But what
people listen to us.
That's very true too. You never know who's listening. Big brother always. But what I'm getting at, though, is you look at a guy like him and you say, like in today's NFL, to that point of watching Jeffrey Simmons and watching T'Vondre Sweat, just those two, and I'll throw Danico Autry in there also. If you are a bigger body guy that plays in the NFL, the element of you just being a one-way guy doesn't fly anymore as much. Keandre Coburn, I view as a run plugger, a run stopper.
Mm-hmm.
Big boy that retired from the Ravens, what's his name? Michael Pierce. Those guys aren't prominent in the NFL on the interior side of things. Michael Pierce played for a while, but he played for a defense that utilizes his skill set.
Well, especially because your base defense is a nickel set in today's NFL, more so than a base 3-4.
I don't view, respectfully, Keandre Coburn as a pass rusher.
No.
And maybe that's the reason why, Will. There's other factors, but I didn't see him being the bottom of the roster guy to be cut this soon.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised. I think it's good news for the undrafted defensive tackles.
Oh, yeah.
About their opportunities to make the roster. Devontae O'Malley, who we've spoken about from Northern Illinois. Cam Horsley at 6'3", 312 from Boston College. Yeah. Philip Bleedy, the rookie out of Auburn, another guy who I would expect to be battling. And then Isaiah Rakes, who got quite a big guarantee as well. A lot of guaranteed money in his undrafted rookie deal out of Auburn at 6'1", 310. Ramon, I'm going to quote your old position coach in Pittsburgh when you were a rookie. There's 2 number 76s on this roster. Which probably means only one of those 76s is going to make it.
Best believe it, my dog.
And you were the one that has said that. I always think about that when I see guys who are sharing a number. That all right, it's either you or him.
We don't do double numbers out here, sir.
Andrew Rupsich and Isaiah Rakes. But split the pool cue and put it on the pool table. We're gonna have tryouts.
We'll see y'all at the end of this thing.
Yeah,
now,
exactly.
Unless Rakes go and get Keandre Colburn's number.
Well, fair enough.
But to your point, that's how it goes, man. And maybe Rakes has done enough. Just naming him most recently has done enough to warrant putting Keandre Colburn out. You know what's okay? Here's the other part of it, though, too, for me, the familiarity of this situation. His new GM was also in Kansas City.
Mm-hmm. It was Mike Berganzi. Helped draft Keandre Colburn to the Chiefs.
He also cut Keandre Colburn also again. That's fascinating.
It's interesting. It is interesting.
It is.
So we'll see who benefits from Colburn's exit. Ramon was in Knoxville yesterday, splitting some time. You're going to learn how to do that drive with your eyes closed if you haven't already.
I'm
going
there.
from Nashville to Knoxville on I-40.
Yeah.
You got to talk with Sam Pendleton yesterday.
Beautiful conversation.
Mike Keith put out a selfie video of you guys saying that Sam was protesting, said, I'm not going to talk to Mike. I have to talk to a guy that has played my position.
Yeah.
So they brought in the big guns and Ramon Foster. Brett Hubbs has spoken very, very well of Pendleton, the Notre Dame transfer, in all of our visits with him this offseason and this preseason. What was your takeaway from getting to sit down with him yesterday?
Awesome, young man. Big size, too. He's got a lot of size to him. I would almost guess he's battling for guard center, probably more for center because of his size and stature and just his mentality of how he plays football, too. The coaching staff love him. His teammate does, too, man. We were speaking off record a little bit on this is confidential stuff in a sense. But he was talking about how he and guys like Lance Hurd have gotten the O-line together to do stuff. And that's unique because here he is, Sam Pendleton, being the new guy in the building. That was one of my sit-down questions I had with him, too. But Smarts is there. He spoke highly of David Sanders Jr., man, about the young man as a prospect. That. He said this, when you see those guys, and you know what I mean when I mention like those guys, like those special ones, he was just saying like he's that. He was like as long as he can get the mental part down, and he has. He was like he expect big things from a guy like him. But Sam's a sharp dude. The physicality that he needs to bring is what this offensive line I feel like is somewhat lacking in a sense. Or I ain't going to say that. The attitude that they need to bring. I think Sam embodies that. And I'm looking forward to seeing what his fall camp is going to be like. He also disclosed to me, too, he was still a fan.
Oh, well, yeah, of course. All right. Enough of that. So I am cautiously optimistic about this Tennessee offensive line. I think if Jesse Perry really has transformed himself the way that we think he has, if Sam Pendleton and Wendell Moy, the 2 transfers, can take that step forward and be anchors of that offensive line as experienced players, and if Lance Hurd really is making the improvements and shows it on the field the way I think he is capable of.
Consistency for him.
Then that's 4 out of the 5 you feel really comfortable with, plus a freshman in David Sanders who is getting on-the-job training, is going to mess up, is going to have some mistakes, is going to have some penalties, going to have some sacks allowed. I mean, I think back to how much James Pierce Jr. and Jocelyn Josephs as young players just dogged Will Campbell in 2022 in Baton Rouge when Tennessee went down there, and Ron Slay and I declared prima nocta on the city of Baton Rouge, and Tennessee just destroyed LSU. Those freshman tackles struggled, him and Emory Jones, in that game, and that's going to happen. And that doesn't mean that David is not a good prospect, but it just means that he's a freshman tackle playing in real time. But I'm cautiously optimistic, Ramon, about this offensive line.
And they got a lot of guys, man, that are waiting for an opportunity, too, man.
It's a good problem to have.
From my understanding, this will be a competitive win-your-job type of camp. I don't think they're predetermining who's going to be where.
Sure.
And there's, I think, like 2 spots potentially, man, that are definitely, most definitely up for. I said definitely, most definitely. What the heck am I doing this morning? that are most definitely up for grabs as it pertains to the opportunity given to those guys. Sham Umarov is another one of those guys, man. Max Anderson. They got
William Satterwhite.
William Satterwhite. They got a lot of
in the interior, they got a lot of bodies. They got a little light on the outside, little light at tackle.
Yeah. Which is, I think, the Jesse Perry conundrum there.
Yeah, because if one of those tackles goes down, that's when you start sweating a little bit.
And put him at tackle maybe. Right. So I know
you don't have your utility backup Dane Davis.
Exactly. There we go. So
a little bit of a concerning story, though, from Adam Sparks of the Knoxville News-Sentinel, who reports that defensive back Boo Carter has missed numerous team activities and was confronted by team leaders because of his absence. Josh Heupel expected to address Boo Carter's status at Tennessee's on-campus media day, which is on July the 29th. If it has not been resolved by then, practice starts in 6 days.
Yeah, man.
So Boo Carter not available for comment as Tennessee begins practice. And this feels like a mix of Nico Iamaleava's absences in the spring with some of the headaches that James Pierce Jr. caused the defense last year. Concerning, I think, from people I've spoken to in Knoxville, it is an uphill battle for him to really earn the trust of his teammates back, to be honest with you, and how much that he has missed already. And Ramon, I'll be honest, I'm growing more and more concerned and more skeptical that Boo Carter is going to play again for the University of Tennessee.
My concern level, I'm going to be honest with you, it's a 10.
Yeah.
It's a 10.
I think Tennessee is positioned with the transfer of Colton Hood to absorb that absence decently well.
Mm-hmm.
That then gives you a little bit more urgency for Jermod McCoy to come back and be healthy right away, and maybe this requires Jermod to rush it as much as you are willing to rush it and be healthy again. But I think Josh Heupel has a problem on his hands with now another star player that is trying to run the program themselves. And when you set the standard with Nico that nobody's bigger than the Power T, you've got to then emphasize that again when another player tries to act like they're bigger than, quote-unquote, the Power T, like Josh Heupel said.
It seemed like somebody was waiting on the other person to leave so they can take that spot. Like, that's not how a good team is built. In today's like NIL recruiting portal world, money world that these guys live in, to take a line from the old 40-year-old virgin movie, man, they're putting a lot of guys on a pedestal. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't put guys on pedestals like this, but their legend grows sometimes bigger than the university, or they feel it is, the way people go at them and love them and tell them how great they are in these moments. And the one thing that I feel like, looking at how this is broken down the last couple of years with the concerns of James Pierce last year and the stuff that, was probably kept under the rug, but people heard.
Until he was a draft prospect.
Until he was a draft prospect. It seems to me whatever's going on, this group of players don't want to deal with this. But here's the other part of this for me. There's got to be a jerk on your staff somewhere.
Bingo.
It has to happen as far as the coaching staff goes. And here's the other part of that too. The ability to win shuts a lot of those guys up too, because if you got a mindset and a team of saying we win, so shut up and get in line,
like Georgia, like
Bama, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Georgia's culture is not perfect; it's far from it off the field. Heck, Georgia just had a commitment the other day, get arrested for speeding. Like, now they're teaching them in high school to do this.
Yeah,
like it is interesting to me. I mean, honestly, like it is the reality of the situation that, like, Kirby Smart is enough of a bad cop to take off-the-field issues and make it work and figure it out. And I'm not saying that Kirby Smart is perfect within all of that, and I think there's probably some guys that have played for Georgia that maybe should not have been put on a pedestal either, to quote you. But, man, like, this is becoming an inherently Tennessee issue. And maybe we're too insulated, maybe it's too local, maybe we're too close to it, and other teams are having these problems as well, but I just feel like Josh Heupel sometimes is too much of a player's coach, and that is why he struggles with guys making decisions and moves like this who feel like they are bigger than the program.
There we go.
That, to me, is the issue. I think it is a Boo Carter and Nico Iamaleava issue first and foremost, because Josh Heupel is not making these guys miss practice and hold the program ransom. Like, that's not Josh Heupel's fault. But I do think there are some things that Josh Heupel and his staff and a general manager that is not in place within this program could do to alleviate some of these things from happening in the future.
Yeah, I agree. Having been in those spots, coaches that I respected were coaches that went straight to me.
Yeah.
Were very direct in how they talked to me. Did they get loud? Yes, as long as we don't cross that disrespectful side of you dumb bleeper, all of that type of stuff, I'm going to listen to you because they're at that fragile age. And I know they're grown men, but they're young men with no experience whatsoever about life and what's in front of them. And so I'm looking at Boo's situation. I'm saying this, too. If it is true or mostly true of that, he's away from the team. I don't know what the NCAA rules are in totality of his ability to play this fall. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to be on campus somewhere. But, bro, guys that come from places that we are, and I don't care if you're black or white, you're below the poverty line on how you're raised up, given these types of opportunity to earn hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars and also to have the talent to go make millions and tens of millions potentially in the NFL, you're an idiot if you squander this type of stuff away. I don't care how real of a guy you are in the streets or how much respect you have back home or how big of an athlete that you think you are. There are certain guys that come from certain places that are allowed to do things, and it ain't much of an avenue after that. A lot of people can't get on a microphone and talk like this or go in front of a Fortune 500 company and present themselves to get a $10 million grant. What I'm saying is you got a limited resources on what your attributes are to this world.
If you just stay in your lane.
Use them.
Yeah.
And football is your attribute to this world.
Not the other stuff off the field. Yeah. It's well said. Streaming live at 104.5 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. There is something unusual about Cam Ward that is a positive that Calvin Ridley spoke about yesterday that we're going to hear from coming up next. 615-737-1045. Back to your phone calls as well as Hour 2 continues. Live from Titans Training Camp at 104.5 The Zone.
It's Ramon and Will here for Window Nation, man. You've been trying to stay cool this summer, but your windows probably aren't keeping the AC in your home, man. Window Nation can help you with that, though. With their energy-efficient replacement windows, your home will be comfy and cool for the rest of the summer. Better yet, Window Nation is currently offering you 50% off all window styles and no interest until the year 2030.
Yeah, until 2030, Ramon. This is one of the best offers that you are ever going to get, so you got to take advantage while you got it. From our good friends at Window Nation. 0 interest for 5 years, no interest until 2030. You can save big this month with 50% off all window styles. We love working with Window Nation because customers love Window Nation. Over 45,000 5-star reviews, a 96% customer satisfaction rating. Window Nation has installed over 2 million windows across the country. Check them out online at windownation.com or call them at 866-90Nation. That's Window Nation online at windownation.com. Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone is fueled by Scooters Coffee, live from Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park, Tennessee Titans Training Camp 2025. Going to talk a little bit about one thing that is unusual about Cam Ward, according to his teammates, coming up here in just a moment. But first, wanted to go to the phones where Dylan has called in, wanting to talk about some of the offensive linemen.
He's no longer there.
Dylan
What?
is no longer there.
Dylan.
Dylan, we were counting on you.
Practice patience, man. What
trusted
the
you.
heck, Dylan?
I
Come
think
on.
y'all went on to talk about some Vols, and he said, you know what, I'm just going to hang up.
Dylan, that's messed up, man. That's crazy, Dylan. If you listen to us right now,
we were pals.
I'm taking one L from your name. You're now Dylon, okay? Dial on in is what I'm telling you,
If
Dylan.
you took one L away, it would just be Dian.
No, it's Dylan. Dillon.
I was saying Dylan.
What?
Yeah.
How you spell Dylan?
Dylan.
Heck no.
When have
like
you ever
Corey
spelled
Dillon.
Dylan with two L's and an
Like
L?
Corey Dillon, Dillon.
Okay, well, that's a last name. This is not the guy's last
Listen,
name.
there's so many different ways to spell anything, okay? Some people throw an E on the end of my name, okay?
If a Dylan is a first name,
Not a
it's
Monet.
Dylan.
You know how many different ways I've seen Erica spelled?
Okay, but we're not talking
Or
about
Tiffany,
Erica. We're talking about
okay?
Dylan.
Did
Don't
you
try to change
If I
the
put
subject.
Dylan down on the paper, Dillon,
I'm
you're
thinking it's
saying
a last
Dylan.
name.
No, absolutely not.
All right.
No, Will.
Should we put this to a poll?
Yes, we should put this to a poll. Either way is right on this one. Come on, broski.
All right.
You
What's
can't.
the normal way
The
to
normal
spell
way.
this as a first
Please
name?
put a poll. Please put a poll on here. Please put a poll on it, Will.
So Dylan out there he has just derailed us.
yeah.
he is-
See what you did, Dylan?
Yeah,
Now
because
you got us infighting now, huh? Discussing your name. How did you spell it, J-Hawk?
Dylan.
thank you.
I didn't
Trash.
also ask,
Correct.
but
Trash.
I just assumed the normal way to spell is with the
Anyway.
YLAN.
We're gonna have so many people who follow us at Ramon and Will on Twitter who are not
Boom.
listening to this conversation right now, who are gonna be so confused. Like, what?
Thank you,
I thought
Jordan.
this was training camp. Why are we talking about how to spell Dylan?
No, we're in competition right now.
All right,
No,
whatever.
James, you take that L, okay? Jordan just told you Dylan Radens and Dylan Gabriel. Take that.
Yeah,
Eat
Dylan
it.
Radens, just spell it Dillon.
Yeah, exactly. Thank y'all. See what I'm saying?
But is that the normal
100% of the votes.
Oh
are
my
Dillon.
gosh, that's both
Anyway,
of your
all right,
accounts.
let's please talk about Cam Ward. Thing is, Justin and I manage a lot of the Zone accounts, so we could just go vote from those.
Yeah, you're at a loss, Ramon.
Y'all,
You're taking
okay.
it out.
I can't wait
You're
to buy
taking
this
it out.
account back.
So Calvin Ridley says the most impressive thing about Cam Ward is his timing, and when followed up about it yesterday, says it is unusual how good Cam Ward's timing is this early into his career. This was Calvin Ridley coming off the practice field yesterday. I asked the question here in the middle of this scrum, and you hear the Titans' number one wide receiver talking about what is unique about his rookie quarterback.
I'm really going to work with whoever coach puts out there, but Cam was the first pick. I mean, first pick and he's good, so I expect him to play. You know.
Good start today.
Good start today. I mean, it could be better, but it was a good start.
Real hot out there today. What's this to set the tone for what the work you guys have to do?
Yeah, I mean, we want it hard so we can get better. It's really hot right here. We got to go to Tampa, and Atlanta's going to be hot there, so why not get it now?
You guys spent a lot of the offseason working on competing. How is the compete level today, and what's the thing you want to see over the first few days out there?
I want to see the offense flow smoothly, no penalties. I want to see us, get in and out the huddle, make plays, no drops. I just want to see us flow and be an efficient offense, really.
Calvin, talking to some of the young guys, like they say they watch the urgency in practice. How much have you embraced this, being the guy that everybody points to set the tone for the receiver?
I mean, like I said, I grew up around, I was raised up around Julio and them,
Right.
so they was the tone setters, so it's easy to, watch them do it and, mold myself to do that when I was there with them and then come out here and, lead my guys and just, really just to run fast and run out the ball and just give energy, all your energy for it. And they, they have a lot more energy than me sometimes, so it's good.
With the young quarterbacks you've worked with, what's unique about Cam? What's different for him and how good he already is just so young in his career?
Yeah, it's his timing. His timing is like up to date, I think, and I've been saying that. His timing's up to date. He whips it. He's confident, and it's smooth. It's an easy catchable ball.
You think he's got uncommon timing for a guy of his age and experience right now?
Yeah, definitely. He's a rookie, a young rookie, and he knows how to throw the ball in time.
Calvin, what do you think is most important to foster that wide receiver quarterback connection at this point starting camp?
Just give him confidence, being in the right spots, catching all the passes no matter where he throws them, and just communicating, watching film after practice and stuff, and just we're locking in. We're here now. We're not leaving until when we leave, but just lock in and do what we got to do.
So that's Calvin Ridley speaking yesterday. That's been the big story, I think, Ramon, with Cam Ward and with the things that he is doing well that are different from a lot of young quarterbacks and a lot of his peers.
Yeah.
He is so quick in making decisions and so decisive with the ball in his hand.
Man, I ain't heard nobody be this excited about a draft pick, man, since, man, I don't know when. Since Cincinnati and Joe Burrow at this point, the way Calvin Ridley speaks about Cam Ward, man. Like, Calvin is clearly trying to get that 2021 version of himself back when he had 1,300 yards. The way he's friendly to Cam, the way he speaks about him, the way he works with him, and the way he's observing him. It's clearly something that Calvin Ridley is seeing in Cam Ward, that over his course of Trevor Lawrence and Will Levis and Mason Rudolph, he's longed for. Like, this guy sounds beyond motivated to make sure that this works, man. And again, it's infectious to be around guys that are seeking greatness too. And I know Cam is young, but he's speaking about like Calvin is speaking about the young professionalism of what Cam is and how he's approached it. Like, you ask him about like his timing. That's not an easy thing to do. I know Cam said yesterday was a midday. It wasn't overly exciting for him and stuff like that. But getting that stuff down based upon what everybody projects a guy like Cam Ward to do is probably the most essential and crucial part of his upbringing as a young NFL quarterback. And to have guys that are willing to work to make sure that he's better and care about it too, there's a lot that's going into this process. And it's kind of fun to hear these guys express that, man, because I've never been around a young number 1 overall pick. Mm-hmm. So I don't understand what that path is like, but seeing what it can do for a franchise and for guys, like looking at what, and I know they're already friends, but what Joe Burrow did for Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, or as I said before, Calvin's longing for that Atlanta, Calvin Ridley. So seeing Cam, whatever he's seeing in Cam, I feel like that's what he's chasing also to somewhat validate his career again.
It is really encouraging how much Cam Ward can throw with anticipation and get the ball out on time. Because I think there are even, Ramon, good young quarterbacks who at first, that's the thing they struggle with the most. The tempo and the timing of when the ball needs to come out. And there's more than just timing to playing the quarterback position. There is accuracy. There is the understanding of where the rush is coming from. Yeah. There's understanding of coverages to not determine pre-snap where the ball's got to go and then going there. And so it is one piece of a very large puzzle. But to me, it is the piece that is so rare for young QBs. That's the thing that I'm really impressed with Cam is, like, yeah, the things he's got to work on, absolutely. The footwork, I think, Brian Callahan has spoken about, and Bo Hardegree and Nick Holtz. They're still fine-tuning some things about the way he throws, and I think we'll really learn how much growth he's made in terms of the timing and in terms of the decision-making once he gets an 11-on-11 with live bullets and in preseason games. I can't wait to watch him play preseason games to see if any bad habits kind of come back.
With Titans Radio, will you get the opportunity to see some of the practices? Do you know that yet? Not yet?
In Tampa and Atlanta?
Yeah, in Tampa and Atlanta. Not yet? Okay, all right. But, okay.
3 practices. Buck Rising will be there. We'll get some reports for him. And Taylor Zarzour is going to join us at 9 as it might be able to give us some boots on the ground experiences from down there, but no, I will not be down there.
Okay. Well, and the only reason I bring that up is because that operation in practice, man, to seeing how they're going to attack them, it may be a little bit, by the time you get to the preseason game, now it's going to be real and everything incorporated because Cam needs as many live reps as he possibly can. He needs to work under the lights. He needs to see and feel what an NFL stadium. I know he'll probably say, well, every stadium's the same. No. It's a little bit different walking into those NFL stadiums. It's football at the end of the day, but the concentration on your work is a little bit higher. So I kind of want to see him play those games, but I most definitely would love to see him in those practice settings to where coaches can really show their defensive playbook. And I kind of want to see or hear Buck's reporting, and there are others that'll be down there on how he reacts to that type of stuff. That to me is going to be, I think, his next step is over these next, I guess, 10 days before they move down, is how does he react to what's unfamiliar to him moving forward, because this, in my opinion, will be his biggest test in this preseason is watching him do work. Will he still have that timing? Will he still be able to incorporate his playbook? And you know what? Against somebody that you know it doesn't hurt you to throw an interception, how do you handle just simply checking down or challenging guys down the field too?
This was Cam Ward talking about the day being mid for the offense. We have a Gen Z quarterback here in Nashville. Cam speaking about his timing, his processing ability, and where the offense could have improved yesterday.
Everything evolves around timing, in my opinion. No matter what the coverage is defensively, in my mind, I just think timing the ball placement will always be anything. But that's just something that, we banked reps in, just in the course of OTAs and minicamp and over the summer to now.
How was it today?
It was real good, especially just in our quick game, just getting guys the ball, letting them make plays, after the catch.
What was it like, I guess, counting the days for this to get going, and how excited to be back out here the first day?
Real excited, especially transitioning from one level to the next level. Just excited to, get a new atmosphere around new teammates, new coaching staff, then finally, be able to put the pass on again next week, and then just doing things full speed like we were in minicamp.
How do you scoreboard out there when there's no wins or losses? How do you measure progress here during training camp?
Everything is always measured off a win or a loss. Practice is 80 plays a day. That's a whole game. We were mid in practice today offensively, but it's first day. You get better every day. We just gotta try and just repeat. And not stay the same. Just try to get better.
That was Cam Ward yesterday.
I didn't realize it was 80 plays a day for offense.
Mm-hmm.
That's moving
it's
and
grooving.
It's a full workload. Yeah, that's moving and grooving right there, man. One thing that's apparent about him, he only cares about the important things. He lets you know, like, I guess in the media minimize wins and losses and stuff like that. He's like, no, everything's a win and loss. Like, those are the things, man, from a quarterback position. Like I said, he's going to tick some of his teammates off in a good way. Well, this is a good thing.
You think this organization needs that a little bit? Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. But hearing him speak about, just the day-to-day stuff. Yesterday he acknowledged it was a quick game type of day, and he executed the way you need him to. I have a saying whenever I was training or whenever I was playing, boring is bad. I mean, boring is good. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you are bored with what you're doing as a crew and how you go about your work, that means you're executing the way you should. You know what I'm saying? And that's where he is right now. Ain't no time to do too much as it pertains to what you're allowed to do. So I'm excited. They're willing out one of the best drills I like to see. That is the throw it in the shoot drill that they're willing out right now.
There's nothing better in training camp or in football practice when nets with little holes around.
Yes.
Where you're throwing it in the little slot and it's going to drop in the smaller net, and there's 3 heights of where the ball has to go.
Oh, my gosh. Yes, indeed.
I like it.
But it's exciting for what he's saying.
It is.
All of this is preseason talk.
Are we okay with Cam Ward just kind of not doing anything super spectacular as long as he doesn't do anything really unspectacular in camp? Like, are we okay with Cam Ward just being fine? Is that a fair expectation for training camp number 1?
I would say condition yourself for it. Because here's the thing. Guys like him that have that dynamic winner gene, that has that playmaker ability, they'll show up when they have to. Think about what his college tape looked like, how he's elevated himself at almost every single level. I don't think you have to tell guys like him to do the sexy stuff. And what I mean by that is that's the reason I think that it's important for him to get this down right now, because, Will, it's going to be one day he goes out on that NFL field as a rookie, and he going to realize, this fat boy that weighs 300 pounds is just as fast as I am. Or, Coach, I didn't even see him. You know what I'm saying? Like, we see those NFL films moments where, Coach, I didn't even see him.
Right.
And that's
your script doesn't always work.
No, it doesn't always work. And sometimes doing what you're allowed to do, Will, ain't a loss. Because, again, I mentioned before, when you're playing against those elite defenses that he's going to see at some point during it, think about Houston and the way they're going to have to get after him. I think I'll pull the curtain back just a little bit. We used to do stuff in camp for Baltimore and Cincinnati and Cleveland without us even knowing it. But when we went back to the camp tape, Coach would tell us we were doing this in training camp to prepare us for these moments right here.
Interesting.
And that's why I think short game, quick game. Look at the rushers that Houston has. Look at the potential defense that Indy.
All three teams.
All three teams
twice. Yeah.
And that's why I'm saying I'm okay with the boring. Boring is good. Like when he do that thing and he make an ESPN top 10 update, do they still do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Top 10 plays.
I know. Listen, it's been a while. Okay. But that's when he shows up in those moments, in that afternoon recap window when they're doing that type of stuff. So I'm unbothered by it. This training camp is to plan for all of that stuff too.
Coming up, we'll get to Johnny's phone call. You can join us at 615-737-1045. Plus, a general manager in the AFC South made a wild comparison that I have major issues with this week as their training camp began. We'll talk about that next.
It's Ramon Foster for Medical House Calls. Good people, that is the actual website too, medicalhousecalls.com. And you can also call or text them if you listen to me right now. Of course, if you're driving, do it safely. But the number is 615-838-2375. And what Medical House Calls is, man, it is a concierge for you, okay? I know we have these busy schedules and you got day-to-days that you want to. You want to go on a Monday and maybe your doctor isn't there on the Monday. Well, guess what? They will come to your house whenever and however you need them to. There's no waiting in the waiting room, man, where it's germ-filled. And some people are just like that. You don't want to go there, or appointments don't fit your schedules, as I said before, or uprooting your life. Kids are scheduled to go see a doctor. I know how it is sometimes. I've lived that life where you have to take your kids into the emergency room with you. You don't have to do that with Medical House Calls. They will do everything that you need, from a full exam to an evaluation to treatment plans to prescriptions if you need it. Whether you need to be treated for a sickness, infection, or injuries, or simply get your home labs done. Get your in-home labs done. They will make that right for you. So simply visit medicalhousecalls.com or call them or text them at 615-838-2375.
Ramon and Will, fueled by Scooters Coffee on 104.5 The Zone. Ramon Foster, Will Bowling, joined by Coach Mack of Titans Radio in just about 15 minutes. Titans head coach Brian Callahan going to meet with the media at 8:35, and Taylor Zarzour, voice of the Titans, going to stop by at the table at 9 a.m. this morning. 615-737-1045, how you jump in. Let's go to the phones where Johnny is in Laverne. What's up, Johnny?
Hey, guys. Good morning.
Morning.
One big thing that I want to bring up, this offseason, I just feel like I keep getting this vibe from Cam Ward. It's two things. It's confidence, and the big one that I hear in his voice every time he gets interviewed is preparation. I feel like I hear that in his voice where he's so prepared. You can hear he's professionalism on that, but I just feel like he's a well-prepared rookie. And the last two things, whoever played Keep Your Roll On by Big Timers earlier needs a raise. And Ramon, I hate to be disrespectful, but it's DYLAN. Y'all
Thank you, Johnny.
Come on, Johnny.
You're welcome
Johnny,
anytime,
and the way I spell your name is just with one N. Okay, Johnny. How about that one? How about that, Johnny?
Thank you for the call, Johnny.
And I put an IE and not a Y at the end, too.
The point on Cam Ward is certainly a valid one. He is well prepared, and he is the type where the film study and the practice, like, I was talking about this to somebody yesterday, like, this is Cam Ward's job, and then once a week he goes and, like, shows everyone in the stadium. Like, there are guys who their job they feel like is to play football, and then there are guys whose job is to practice, and then once a week they just show you every week what they practiced that week.
Yeah.
Cam Ward strikes me as the latter of a guy who obsesses over the details and has confidence in the routine that he has had over time that has allowed him to have so much success.
Well, he told you, like, I do football. Like, that is one of the most unique things that he can say, man, when it boils down to that position, too. And here's the other part. I think Cam understands the weight of the position. You know, some people, to your point, just play the position because they good at it or the coaches put him in that position. Like, no, he embodies what he knows a quarterback is and wants to execute that, man, to a T. So, Johnny, with one end, man, like – Shit, you got me started. Now.
Talking about Janai
Broom just called in, man. But what I'm getting at is this, to your point. When you meet, I don't want to go too far, but like the greats that pursue it, they understand everything about it. They sell out so much that, like I said, that it'll tick you off with how they approach you and how brash they are about being great, man. So, Johnny, you're 100% correct. And, like, you hear it, but the other part of this game is this. And I always tell people, you're going to have to show it, too.
Yeah. Right.
And when you do show it, like the same thing I tell any of the young athletes that I train or work with or coach, I want to see you do it again and then again. And I think that's what this fan base is clamoring for, man, as they get out of this space of just mediocrity. You know what I'm saying? Like, that sucks to be. And I think he can be the wave that move it, man.
So Chris Ballard, the general manager of the Indianapolis Colts, was speaking to the media the other day, and this via James Boyd, Colts reporter on Twitter. Chris Ballard does not view 2025 as a make-or-break season for Anthony Richardson. James Boyd asked, well, why not? He compared Anthony Richardson to Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold. And this was Colts GM Chris Ballard talking about that the other day.
You view this year as a make-or-break year for Anthony. I know you said follow up to that. Why not? Considering that he's 1 year 3, you have the option coming up, that decision. But I guess why your timeline perhaps different than one I might have perceived at the outside?
Do you think people regret Baker Mayfield's timeline? Sam Darnold's timeline? Let's just go. Exactly. And so how about sometimes you got to have a little patience with a guy and let them grow through things. Now, there's got to be, like, if you just know this guy, no, he can't do it. But if you think, hey, he's on the right trajectory, why are you gonna flush him just because people outside think you should flush him? I don't agree with that. I think we need to give Anthony every chance to be the best he can be, and I think he can be really good, but things got to come together.
That was Chris Ballard, the GM of the Colts, the other day. Ramon, you made a face halfway through that quote.
Man, salute him for putting his cleats in the ground and loving his man. Okay, but here's the other side about this timeline thing that he's mentioning. Are you willing to pay Anthony Richardson $250 million to see this timeline through?
Well,
because
I think you
those
are if
other
he ends up being
guys,
that good.
I know, but if he ends up, but like Baker and Anthony Richardson aren't the same comparison. Baker's first couple of years, he was second offensive player of the year, rookie of the year.
It's that part of it.
It's the performance part of it for him that he's missing to compare this. Like Baker gave you something to believe in.
Yeah, and so did Sam Darnold.
Yeah, and Sam Darnold.
I put their stats side by side here, Ramon. Here you go. Because you're 100% right. Baker Mayfield's first 2 years of NFL football, 61% completion, 85.9 quarterback rating, 49 touchdowns to 35 picks. He was 12-17 as a starter. He threw for 251.7 yards per game. Sam Darnold, 59.9% completion, 81.1 QB rating. Not great, but not terrible for a first 2-year quarterback. 36 touchdowns, 28 picks, 11-15 record, 226.5 yards per game. Anthony Richardson has completed 51% of his passes over his first 2 seasons. He has a 67.8 quarterback rating. He has 11 touchdowns and 13 interceptions and 159 yards per game through the year. He is not Baker Mayfield or Sam Darnold, and he never has been in the NFL.
You know what's even crazier about that? That the athlete that he is, he ain't even showed us his Vic qualities.
No.
He ain't even running over
He's
nobody.
not showing us anything other than the fact that he gets hurt a lot. And that he can throw a nice deep ball every now and then.
And that's the reason I'm bringing up, like, are you willing to say that and live and give him $250 million to live out this time? Like, yes, I agree. Baker Mayfield now is way better than we thought he was going to be, right?
Oh, yeah,
Looking at
sure.
Sam Darnold. But the Jets didn't give that to Sam Darnold. Cleveland didn't get that to Baker Mayfield. That's my point. Like, you can wish him well in where? L.A.? Is that what you're saying?
Well, and I think, too, sometimes the change of scenery is a required part of a guy developing and maturing. Like getting out of your comfort zone a little bit, and it's like getting a second opinion from a doctor. Like getting a second opinion from an offensive coordinator or for a coach who sees something in you that your original coach didn't is sometimes why those guys develop. So this idea that, like, if we wait long enough, maybe he'll go from a pumpkin into a carriage. Like, no, like sometimes you have to leave in order for that to happen. And I respect Chris Ballard because Chris Ballard's job is tied to Anthony Richardson.
It is.
And that's why he has to be patient, is because if Anthony Richardson doesn't work, then the Colts are just going to go find the new GM and the new quarterback.
Hey, stand by your man.
Yeah,
Ain't that Shania Twain?
He has no choice other than to stand by his man. So I get him trying to do cartwheels and gymnastics to say, like, oh, Anthony's not that bad. Give him time. Like, no, buddy, he's that bad, and you're going to get fired because he's that bad.
This is preservation
Sooner rather
right
than
there.
later.
Is that Shania Twain?
Stand by your man?
Stand by your man. I don't know. Who's
Patsy
the song
Cline?
by? I don't know. Tammy Wynette?
Yeah, see, we were both wrong on that one. That is my age showing and your lack of country music knowledge showing. We were together. There are a lot of people cursing both of our names right now.
You best believe
Coming
it,
up
man.
next, Coach Dave McGinnis will join us a loaded hour 3. We will have Brian Callahan from the podium speaking at 8:35. Plus, Taylor Zarzour set to join us at 9 o'clock this morning. Lots still to come. Live from Tennessee Titans training camp on Ramon and Will.
It is 8:01. Good morning, live from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. Tennessee Titans training camp day 1 in the books, and Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park day 2 getting underway soon. With practice set for 8:55 this morning, head coach Brian Callahan will meet with the media ahead of practice coming up here at 8:35, and you can, of course, hear that right on Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone. Yesterday, Titans defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons met with the media post-practice and talked about how he views this season and his 7th season in Tennessee.
When you step on that field, everything should be personal. I think at the end of the day, this is my 26th season, and my first 3 years I made the playoffs. Not making the playoffs sucks. But that should be personal. We should come in, and our main focus right now is being better. But when that season starts, the first goal is win the division.
In other Titans news, first reported by Paul Kowarski this morning, the Titans released defensive lineman Keandre Coburn as the move clears way for an addition made last night. And former Minnesota Vikings linebacker Jihad Ward. Ward played all 17 games for the Vikings last season, starting 2 and totaling 10 tackles, 14 quarterback hits, and a sack. This Titans will be Ward's 7th team since entering the league in 2016 as a second-round draft pick to the Raiders. The Titans also signed former Falcons and Giants defensive lineman Timmy Horn and former Lions running back Jamar Jefferson to the camp roster yesterday as well. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans involves. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Ramona Will, 104.5 The Zone is fueled by Scooter's Coffee. A little bit of a music change to start the hour because to begin the second half of the show, we are joined by Coach Dave McGinnis. Second half of the show, Coach Mac, brought to you by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. Two Rivers Ford. Ramon Foster, Will Bowling. Coach Mac, how we doing?
I'm doing great. Kirby just is fixing me up right here, doing a very good job. I took Ramon's phone and tried to put my passcode in it for about 3 times, and it didn't work. I was mad, and then Ramon says, "Is that mine?" It was.
I told you should have put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's how you get in.
It was. So my passcode doesn't work in your phone.
You know what's most surprising, Mac, about it? Your facial recognition didn't work. You know they say we twins out here.
That upsets me, but we can go past that.
That's what I'm saying. We got on sunglasses and everything together.
Day 2, guys.
Yeah, we in it, Mac. We are in it.
Good day yesterday, Mac. I know a lot of talk about Cam Ward, obviously, and we'll start there with the quarterback. Talking to Calvin Ridley post-practice, he talked about, Mac, how uncommon and uncommonly good Cam's timing is for a young quarterback. How much of that do you see in just the way Cam is getting the ball out on time and how early into that process he's already thriving in that way?
I saw it all off season. All OTAs, I saw it. I mean, I've been here every day, watched him every day. I couldn't watch him very much yesterday because, full disclosure for our listeners, for this whole camp until we go to Tampa and go to Atlanta, I'm going to be doing for Microsoft and for Titans All Access. They got a film crew out here. I'm going to be doing a position a day, taking a deep dive into positions. And I did the running backs yesterday. Yeah. So to that point, I can't watch everything right now. I've got to do that because, I mean, they're paying money for this.
See, Mac.
So anyway, but I watched him all during the off season. And that's the one. The 2 things that I like about him, first of all, he's got both feet on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have a lot of extemporaneous. That's a big word from TCU.
That's an ugly word.
BS. He just doesn't. I mean, it's all about business. And the other thing is, the biggest mistake a lot of young players make, quarterbacks, offensive linemen, any young player, when they get into this league, they get ahead of themselves way too quick. Way too quick. He's not a get ahead of yourself guy. He is so grounded. And the other thing that I really liked about him during this off season was, and look, he's going to have some struggles just because he's a rookie quarterback, and people, I made a good living for a lot of years in this league trying to upset rookie quarterbacks.
I told you.
And that's just, and he's going to face that, but it doesn't faze him.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't faze him. And some young quarterbacks, when something bad starts happening, it short circuits them. It crushes them.
Yeah.
Not only for the moment, but for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the guy is very calm, but the ball, you talk about the ball coming out quick. It reminds me when I first went to the Bears, I worked with an offensive line coach named Dick Stanfield, who's in the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
And Dick Stanfield was an MVP of the league for the Detroit Lions. I mean, he was a guard for Bobby Lane and that group.
Yeah.
But he also played with John Brodie at the 49ers. And John Brodie, at that time, was one of the best at avoiding sacks. And I asked Coach Stanfield, I said, what was it about your offensive line that was so good that Brodie always, never, ever seemed to get sacked? He said, it wasn't us. He got rid of the ball.
Yeah.
He got rid of the ball. He got rid of the ball. And on time. This guy's on time.
Yeah, he is.
And it's pretty unusual for a young player to be that on time. But he can afford to do that because he's blessed with a quick release, and he's a good processor.
Man, I got to get some of this Microsoft money. We'll talk after the show about that, too.
Well, look, it's taken me a lot of years.
Yeah, I know.
About 2.
Okay. That's my guy.
What position were you watching yesterday?
Running backs.
Running backs.
Did running backs yesterday.
Chase Pierce had a good day yesterday.
And what they want, and it's not so much the days that they have.
Sure.
Yeah, I go down. I'll start today. With the tight ends, and what they want is to start with the individual drills. What are the individual drills they are doing that are going to relate to the things that they're going to do once they get in group and once they get in team? Because I mean, I've been with this group of coaches long enough, and I know the pattern of the install, and so. But that's what Microsoft wants, is a little bit deeper dive into how the individual drills pertain to what happens reality on the field. In other words, this league has evolved into, I mean, you're not doing chin-ups and monkey rolls anymore.
Right, no.
Absolutely not. To get warmed up. And yesterday, so explaining what's going on, and then let it progress to the group, then let it progress to team, 7-on-7. So it's pretty in-depth. I mean, I'm on that microphone for an hour and a half. So, and then they got pay people a lot of money in this building to edit that stuff. So
absolutely,
we're good.
With you watching the running backs yesterday, Khalil Mullings is one of those guys, a specimen in himself. Is it easy for you to spot who the rookie is in those moments?
Sure.
And if so, what does that look like for those guys, Mac?
They're just not quite as smooth.
Yeah.
Not quite as smooth. And look, you know this, Ramon. I mean, you were an accomplished player, but when you first came in, it all relates to. And the key phrase is time on task.
Yes, sir.
That's the key phrase for any position, time on task. Now, what you're looking for as a coach, you're looking, are they better than they were when they first came in here after the draft? Mm-hmm. Are they better? And they are. But you can tell that there's just a sense of calm about vets.
Yep, it is.
Just a sense about calm. I mean, and if you know what you're looking for, I mean, even if you don't even have any idea what a roster sheet says as far as experience, you can tell who's been around.
Yeah, no doubt. With that also, when you got guys coming in, you go into the tight ends today, like a Gunnar Helm that's played big-time ball.
Yes.
That understands what it takes, got the body for it. Vets like Josh Wiley, they feel that, Coach Mack, when that competition's on their heels like that.
Ramon, look, again, you can speak to this. I mean, I lived it for 31 years with players, but they know who their competition is.
Best believe it.
I mean, And, I mean, you're still on one team, and in the meeting rooms you're still all together, but you understand when they bring somebody in at your position, it's not automatically saying we're trying to replace you with this guy, but there's always the chance.
There's the chance.
Mm-hmm. There's always a chance. So that has a twofold purpose. First of all, you're always trying to improve the belly of your roster. Yeah. But second of all, you can speak to this, and I may be wrong, but I don't think so. It ups that vet a little bit too.
Yes, I live that.
I know you did.
I felt probably 60% of my career was feeling that, Coach Mack. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well,
the idea,
and here's the reason.
But that's the league, though, too.
That's the league, and it doesn't matter that you were undrafted, or it doesn't matter how you. But when they bring somebody in, because the organization has made a conscious choice to bring somebody else in at that position. Now, it's to strengthen the whole team, but as a player in that position room that is a vet, that is still wants some more years, it kind of keeps you on point.
It does. It keeps you on point. That's so fascinating about this because there's only 53 live spots, and that's the beauty of it, Coach Mack. But I'm super excited to hear your report when you're done with that group on the tight ends. So Gunnar Helm intrigues, I think, a lot of this fan base.
I like Gunnar Helm. Vetting it, vet the draft. You know how hard we worked on the draft, vetted the draft. He was the leading receiver at Texas. But what he was able to do, he's a space finder. And for tight ends in this league now, because different than in college football because of the way the hashes are set up, but this is a middle of the field game in the National Football League. And the middle of the field is the first sight line for quarterbacks. So guys that can find space, that Kittle can find space.
Absolutely.
Kelsey can find space. Those guys, Tony Gonzalez could find space. They understand the nuances of being able to shoulder up and then move off and then the ball being there on time. So the other thing is about tight ends, the tight end has become a real jack of all trades now in the National Football League, because now what you can do with the tight end in your personnel groups, and of course, I always talk personnel groups to our listeners because so they'll understand. But if you got one tight end in the game, he can still line up in a lot of different spots. So the deployment of the defense has to be different.
Yeah.
And you got two of them in the game. Now you've got one guy that probably has some multiplicity of being able to be a fullback, being able to split out wide. So because what they're trying to do is work the offense with the same looks but with different formations and get different matchups. That's where the league has evolved into.
Mac, one of those guys on defense the Titans will use to cover tight ends and take those guys away had his first practice yesterday, and Kevin Winston Jr., the safety out of Penn State.
Yes.
How big of an importance will that be for him? How big of a role will he have in being a tight end eraser as he tries to carve out a role as a rookie?
Well, first of all, I was really surprised that he wasn't on PUP to start. I didn't have any idea that he was going to be he's clear to me, which is great news.
Absolutely.
Now, it's going to take a while for him to catch up. Again, vetting the draft, looking at him before he got injured, his ability was higher than his draft stock, but he had an ACL, and that always plays a difference. But to your question, Will, once they get him up to speed of what they're going, first of all, this defense has a lot of three safety looks, which is going to be important. And to your point, it's a matchup. It's a matchup help. And so how quick he can get up to speed, we'll see. They're still not going to just jump him in there immediately because he hadn't done anything, for quite a while.
Right.
But just the fact that he was cleared medically to be able to come back and start training camp is a huge plus for him and down the road for this defense.
I love it. Coach Mack with us. He is mic'd up. He is the most important man in football here on the show. The head coach of Titans Radio. He is broadcast professional, broadcast guru, Coach Dave McGinnis. Appreciate you coming a little earlier than we expected this morning.
Guys, anything for you guys, plus I was trying to use Ramon's phone.
I love it. Trying to crack the code.
Now I'm trying to take his Microsoft.
Trying to crack the code. Thank you, Matt. Good to see you.
That's my guy.
See you guys.
Coach Matt with us, brought to you by Two Rivers Ford. Coming up, we'll get Ramon's thoughts. The one player Ramon is most excited to watch this morning. Brian Callahan going to speak at 8:35. Much more still to come in Hour 3 on Ramon and Will.
It's Ramon Foster for Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Good people, it is hot outside, man, and I'm sure your HVAC units are working overtime. But I'm here to tell you this, man, and nobody wants to deal with an HVAC, plumbing, or an electrical emergency this time of year. All those things can wreck your day. And most of the time, you don't even know what it's going to cost or if it'll get fixed properly or if somebody's trying to sell you something you do not need. When you call Hiller, their experts are going to solve your problems quickly. And the price you're told is actually the price that you're going to pay. There are no hidden fees or surprises with your bill. Hiller's been here in business for over 35 years and are family owned and operated. Their techs are professional, very experienced, and very trustworthy too, and they're all background checked and drug screened. The motto is always this: happy you'll be or the service is free. And they absolutely mean that. If there's an issue with your service or something that you just don't like what they did, they will make it right with you, man. To learn more about Hiller or to book with them, simply visit happyhiller.com.
Ramon and Will, 104.5 The Zone in hour number 3 on this Thursday. Live from Tennessee Titans training camp, Brian Callahan going to meet with the media coming up in just about 10 minutes. We will hear that live right here on the program. 615-737-1045 is the number. Titans making the roster move official this morning that we told you about earlier in the show. The man they call Hottie, outside linebacker Jihad Ward, is officially a Tennessee Titan, meaning that Keandre Coburn has been waived. Ward has played 9 seasons in the league. He has started 37 games, including a few last season for the Minnesota Vikings. He has played in 17 games, 4 straight years, Ramon Foster. And despite the fact that he is a later off-season addition, he still fits the main criteria of what Mike Berganzi and Chad Brinker are valuing, which is availability.
I mean, here's the thing. He's a 9-year vet at this point. I think his recent team was Minnesota. He signed an above minimum for, an above
Kirby's distracting us. Sorry, we're trying to do a radio program here. We're trying to be professional. Kirby just having a full-on conversation with us. Just a full hey, did you see that? No, I didn't. Continue.
Shout out to Kirby's grandson, by the way. I will say that, man. What was I about to say?
You were talking about Jihad Ward.
Oh, Jihad Ward, yes, another player that's getting a shout out. No, don't apologize, Kirby. But here's the thing: he's a guy that played on a very attacking defense last year in Minnesota, so he has the traits in which they were looking for. Mm-hmm. The thing about him being signed this late is one of those things. You look at some folks and be like, yes, it's a camp body type of guy, but he played significant reps for them. He had played significant reps for him, and also looked at his contract. He signed for $1.7. That's not throwaway money. He got a $400,000 signing bonus. And some dudes that have signed as of late, you might get $40,000. $40,000, you're a camp body. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's a different situation he's in. The reason he's out probably that late because his role player, when you 9 years plus, they're going to look at dudes that are probably years 2 through 6 before they look at a 9-year vet like him. Great for him is the Titans had an opportunity for him. It sucks that they were blindsided by the retiring Lorenzo Carter. Mm-hmm. But it's early enough that we can get a quality guy in right now.
Well, honestly, I mean, it might be better. Like, John Ward actually had a sack last year. Lorenzo Carter did not. Yeah, their career numbers similar. In Brian Flores' defense, too, they moved him all around on that Minnesota defense last year. They'd line him up over the center. They'd line him up as a chess piece, and Brian Flores' defense is they are multiple in the way that they want to get after the passer, and Denard Wilson wants to be too, and the Titans want to have depth enough at that position to where they can move chess pieces around, but you got to actually have chess pieces on the board in order to move them around. And that's the thing where the depth at that position still remains the biggest question mark for me on this entire team.
Understood.
But I think you are right in what you said earlier in the show, in that the Titans are emphasizing all 11 guys on the defense being run stoppers.
Absolutely.
And they're not going for as much of the smaller body, 240-pound, 250-pound, quick off the edge, speed pass rusher. They are valuing versatility in run-stopping pass rushers, and that's what Jihad Ward is.
But you also, just me looking at it from this standpoint, they're not in a position to have a get-after-the-quarterback guy right now. As with the way this team is built, like that's an explosive type of player when it comes down to what they're looking for. You're looking for a guy that's trying to control time of possession, right? Those types of guys that can be stout at the line of scrimmage, and that's how you got to look at this Jihad Ward signing, in my personal opinion.
Sure.
With everything that everybody else has done, even with Jeffrey Simmons losing weight like that.
Right. Well, and two, like if you are a team that feels like you're rebuilding, let's be honest, and feels like you're going to be down in games.
Yeah.
Can you stop the bleeding and stop the run when you are down by 10 points in the second half? Like, can you keep a 10-point deficit to give Cam Ward and your offense a chance, where last season teams were hitting explosive plays in the run game when they were already up on the Titans?
Or milking the clock on
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, it is harder to come back and give yourself a chance if you as a defense can't stop the run and you're in a rebuild to where you feel like you're going to be down in some games.
And again, here's the other part of it too, is giving Will Levis. I mean, whoo.
Oh, hey, oh, wow. Come on. We were having a nice time. What are we, no. Wait, you're the distraction.
Oh my
Ramon
God.
you are such a popular
Bert,
person.
you
and
mind
you've got
taking
so
over?
many people to talk to.
That was
this morning that you just
insane. Look at
confused
Donald
Cam
right
Ward
now
for
laughing.
Will Levis. That's crazy.
I'm thinking about him when you couldn't move anything off.
We put a moratorium on
Lord.
Levis talk yesterday.
Look at me. Okay.
You know what?
Bring it back. Kirby
Kirby
quit.
just walked off the set.
Okay, all right. He's
back. He's fine. We got his Pepsis.
Yeah, he's good. He can't leave his Pepsis. We know that now. You know what I'm saying? Or his Reese's. But what I'm getting at is this. What I was attempting to say was this. When you're in a position where you're trying to manage a young quarterback like a Cam Ward to keep him in the game, the defense plays a part in that too.
Yeah.
If he can't get out on the field, or if the other team holds the ball or scores quick, if they score it quick, it puts a lot of pressure on a rookie that's got a lot of expectations to overperform. That means airing the ball out in positions you don't need to. Coaches have this number in their head, and I feel like the number's 10. You down by 10, throw the old game plan that you had out. None of that matters anymore moving forward.
Yep.
We got to go get a quick strike. And is Cam and his team in a position to do that, which is why I think there's a huge investment in the offensive line. There's a huge change and shift in the type of guys on the defensive line that you're trying to get to.
So, in 60 seconds, Ramon, who is the player you are most looking forward to watching today?
It's Dan Moore.
Oh, okay.
Easily. Day 2 of this thing.
My most important Titan, not named Cam Ward on the team.
Yeah, it's Dan Moore. Wanting to see what he looked like, how he competes. Does he set his edge a little bit better? Technically, what does he learn over the spring from Coach Bill Callahan? And not just that, from Duke Manyweather, too. Like, he's checked the offseason boxes as we know it, right?
Okay.
Can he deliver the goods, even out of pass? Well, because here's the pro part about this time of the year. It's still physical.
Oh, yeah. No, they're still practicing. It's still important to be on the field. If it wasn't important for linemen to practice not in pads, they wouldn't be out here.
Exactly.
Coming up next, Brian Callahan speaks with the media. You will hear it live after this on 104.5 The Zone. Hey, it's Will Bowling. Are you looking to check some items off your home to-do list this summer? Or maybe you are looking to freshen up your home's look before hosting friends and family. Well, available 24/7, 365, the Lee Company handyman professionals have you covered. From pressure washing your driveway or deck to drywall repairs, landscape lighting, painting, and more, Lee Company is all you need. And if you're like me and you try to do things yourself and just make things worse around the house sometimes, just get Lee Company on your team. They've got over 80 years of experience serving Middle Tennessee. They're open 24/7, 365, which means when you call Lee Company, they're there anytime, any day. 615-567-1000. They're online at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com. Lee Company, all you need. Live from Tennessee Titans training camp on Ramon and Will, fueled by Scooters Coffee. And right now, Tennessee Titans head coach Brian Callahan meets with the media.
High pressures, but not as many sacks. What can you guys do to get those pressures to convert to actually QB taking?
Yeah, we got to get the quarterback on the ground. I think, like I said before, we had quite a high number of missed sacks. We got the quarterback in our grasp, but we're right in position to make it, and we don't get him on the ground. So we got to do that better. I think how we're going to rush this year, how we're going to deploy the people to rush, I think is going to be maybe a little bit, different from maybe years past. But we're going to find a way to collectively rush better and get the quarterback on the ground. There's a lot of things that go into that. The balancing of the rush, the technique and how you rush. And I think one of the things for the size that you see that we've added, there's a crushing of the pocket as opposed to maybe more pure pass rush moves and things like that, where we're trying to collapse the pocket on the quarterback. So those are things that we're doing. That's kind of why we have the style of players we have. And it hopefully is translating to some more quarterback sacks and not just pressure.
Do you see more potentially anyway, more blitzing this year? I don't think you guys were one of the highest blitzing teams last year.
I think that's game to game. I think it depends on who you're playing. Certainly, Denard's got plenty of blitzes in his bag, and we see lots of them in practice. And he's ran a few. We pressure selectively. I think we pressure at the right times, but whether there's more or less, I think remains to be seen.
There's obviously some
I'll come back.
That goes with starting.
Yes.
And if you're an offensive lineman or quarterback, it's a big deal. At positions that are related to packages, third wide receiver, the outside linebacker rotation and stuff like that. Is it maybe less of a big deal, at least in the eyes of coaches, who starts, who gets introduced on the big board at the beginning, as opposed to what you're actually doing snap-wise?
Yeah, I think there's a balance. I mean, there's certainly like I said, there's a prestige to starting. There's an earning of a starting role that I think matters. But there's also a lot of players that play roles for us that maybe aren't considered starters, but are just as vital in our performance as a football team. There's every part of our team has role players, whether it's your fifth receiver on special teams, your fourth receiver, your third tight end, your third running back. Those guys are all role players, but they're equally as important. So while there is some prestige to starting, and it does matter, I think there's the depth in their role players, I think, matter just as much as those guys do over the course of a season.
Back to the defensive line, that intentional decision that you guys have made to build that way, what's the impetus for that? Is that out of necessity? Is it the way that Denard wants to operate? Is it trying to get ahead of a curve in the league?
No. Go ahead. Sorry, I'll let you finish.
Go ahead.
I would say no. It's not to get ahead of any curve or trend or anything. That's just what I know. I believe it. I know Denard comes from a system that believes it as well. Is that those guys up front, it's you want as many big, powerful humans as you can get. And I think if you look at how Baltimore's been built over time, that those outside linebackers are big and they're long and they're physical and they're hard to run the ball against. And I think that's where it all starts. Got to be really good against defending the run to earn the right to rush the passer. Being physical, being stout, being strong at the point of attack, I think is a good place to start. And then you can use those guys in different ways when it comes to rushing the quarterback and the rush packages and rush plans and how you affect the quarterback.
I know size isn't everything, but it's like you're working towards being bigger up front, but your best player got smaller. Can you help me just kind of understand the correlation there?
Well, he's still a 300-pound human, TD. It's, I would say smaller is not the word I would use. I would say he got leaner. And I think that is the difference. His lean body mass and his strength are still exactly what it was, 20 pounds heavier, but he's got different weight on him. And I think his power is going to be the same. But yesterday, I pointed it out in a team meeting. Jeff was running down, coming out of the stacks, chasing the ball down, and hit 18.2 miles an hour in practice, which for a man of his size is really impressive. And I think that's what you see from a guy that, refined his body type, and he's become a little faster, but I don't think he's lost any power or strength by any stretch.
Do you anticipate Playing a little bit more. I know he plays some 5-tech, but do you think he'll play more up and down the line?
I think Jeff's got versatility to do all that. I think, even some last year he rushed as an edge on different spots. So we didn't do a ton of it, but Jeff's got versatility, and I think that's what makes him unique.
How would you evaluate day one of camp, and what are you looking for today?
Yeah, really good first day for us, I thought. In terms of operation, we didn't have hardly any issues with alignments and assignments. Really, really strong first day from that regard. We're in an acclimation period, too. We're ramping into what's going to be our full padded routine next week as we get through this weekend. So we're kind of adding every day. Every day is just a little bit longer. We're mindful about how we go down the field in the first couple of days just to get everyone's legs back underneath them, ready to roll for the meat of training camp coming up. So felt really good about it.
Sorry, saw you guys grading throws in the quarterback room.
Yeah.
How far back does that go for you in the places you've been?
Yeah, always had some version of that. Bo and I have had some similar kind of mentors over our careers, and one of the things I think you have to ask him more specifically. I think he got it from David Cutcliffe when he was playing, but they would grade every ball in every part of practice, and that essentially just makes you aware of where you're placing the ball, and location is such a critical part of successful quarterback play, making you aware of where your bad throws are, where your good throws are, and you get a chance to look at why. Why was that throw maybe off target? And again, there's the difference between a throw here and a throw here is a great difference. So we're really hard on those guys in terms of their location. But they have fun with it too. It's a fun. They grade each other's throws. They have to come to an agreement on if a throw is a C throw, if it's an A throw. But the intent is to make them aware of the location of the ball, and if there is a bad throw, why did it occur, and keep them accountable to their part in the accuracy throwing.
What's a reasonable expectation of A throws for your all?
An A throw would be what you call your kind of quintessential perfect ball. Runner's ball. If a guy's in a move, it hits him. He doesn't have to break stride, doesn't have to move his body. It hits him right in his hands where he can just catch, tuck, and run. That's kind of the best way I can describe an A throw. A throws are probably hard to come by, naturally so, and I think that's a good thing. I would say they probably most practices are going to be a pretty high level of B throws, and then you have your handful of A throws. And I think when you look at a course of a game, quarterbacks probably have to make anywhere between 8 to 10 probably A throws in a game for you to convert on a third down or throw a touchdown, and that's probably a reasonable expectation.
Chig is on the verge who you were complimentary of last year, but then the production just didn't meet what you saw. What can he do this year to convince you that it's in fact different?
Yeah. Everything about Trey I like. I like his ability. I like his talent. The thing that he's got to do for us, and I think he's on the same page with it, is you got to find the production. You have to make the plays when you have opportunities to make them. That's in practice. That's in preseason games. That's in regular games. And that's going to be that's the step for him. He's got to take for us is when it's when the time comes to produce, he's got to produce for us. Now, everything he does, how he works, the person he's in the building are fantastic. I love Trey, and I'm hopeful that he can find a way to get the production that he needs to continue to show for himself, because that's probably that's the step he's got to take, is to produce.
Chig, obviously, most experienced guy in the tight end room. Behind him is everything kind of up for grabs with that group, and can that pecking order change based on what you see here in camp?
Yeah, there's a lot of competition in that room right now. With some young players, obviously Gunner in there as a rookie, a lot for him to learn. It's hard position to play as a young player, and then with DMR and Tommy and Josh, those guys are all competing for meaningful snaps in a role. I think the best part about tight ends is that you can use different guys in different roles, whatever their skill sets are, and we have a need for a couple different types, and those guys are all competing for those opportunities.
Seems like we've seen James Williams get a lot of first-team reps, whether off-season or early yesterday. If he does have a leg up at that spot, what's he done and how has it developed?
Yeah, James has done a really nice job. He's matured from his first year to his second, starting to understand the position more, because, keep in mind, he was a converted safety. So playing in the box was maybe not in the box necessarily, but at the linebacker position with your eyes and your reads, and how quickly you have to diagnose and react. Those things have improved leaps and bounds from his first year to his second year. And you combine that kind of mental improvement with his maturity, and he's put himself in a really nice position. So again, we'll find out a whole lot more when we put our pads on. That'll be pretty revealing, but I'm really pleased with where James is at.
When you came here, this team had been offensively a power run, play action, vertical type of offense for years and years and years. Anytime, at least that there's been a scheme change, like on defense going from a 4-3 to 3-4, you have to find guys who don't necessarily fit what you want to do. When you came in, did you find maybe that there were a lot of things that didn't quite fit last year that you had to kind of make the best of, and you're still looking for fits here, fits there as you convert this to more of a timing-based, horizontal type offense?
Sure. There's probably a lot more. There's probably a lot of layers to that question. I think, generally speaking, I think we just need as many good players as we can find, and it's my job to find a way to put them in position to be successful. And while we had spurts of it last year, and we've tried to do the best we could with everything that we've had, and we had some deficiencies clearly. We needed to do a better job with that stuff, and hopefully as we got some new players and some young players and a different skill sets of guys, then we can find different ways to use them too. So I said there's probably a lot to that question from top to bottom, but I think at the end of the day it's my job to find a way to get an offense that can score points.
What's the biggest point of emphasis for DK and Ironman right now?
Biggest point of emphasis, I would say it's really going to be when pads come and understanding how to play the physical nature that the receivers have to play when guys got their hands on you, press coverage, guys that are long and can run just as fast as you. They played against some good players, but everybody who they play against now is going to be good. So there's going to be a lot of work involved in releases and press and all those things. And then just being comfortable moving around a formation. They're both really smart guys, and so we can use them a lot of places, and we're finding out how much volume they can handle as well in terms of you can move AO to X to Z, you can put Chim at F, you can put Chim at Z, you can move these guys around and find ways to use their talents. So that mental load as we get into camp is going to be a point of emphasis for them too, is how much can they handle, and we'll learn about that as we go.
Coach, you spoke last year about feedback from the quarterback, and sometimes even saying, hey, I like this, coach. Where is that right now with Cam Ward? Because he doesn't come across as being a guy who's going to shy away from giving his opinion. No,
that's great. I love that about Cam and quarterbacks in general is I want to hear what they like. I want to hear their opinions. They're the ones out there that are doing it. I'm not out there throwing the ball, and every quarterback has things they prefer, has things they like, has concepts they feel more comfortable with than others. And if I don't know that, I can't keep calling them for them. So the idea is if they tell me plays that they like, and I can feature those. And then more importantly, I want to hear what they don't like, because that's really easy to just eliminate something if they're not comfortable with it. Cam's not shy about it, but he also understands he's learning at the same vein. He's trying to understand more about the totality of the offense, but he certainly has plays he enjoys and plays that he doesn't, and so he's not shy about sharing those things, which is good.
How much of a core work in maybe some third down and some red zone, and I guess how critical is it that Cam continues his development on those?
Quickly. Today, the first 2 days are base down days here. We'll get into third downs tomorrow. So this afternoon's walkthrough is pretty heavy third down. Tomorrow's practice is third downs. Saturday's going to be red zone. So we jump into them pretty quickly. And then for the rest of the time in training camp, there's probably either a third down or a red zone period in just about every practice.
Obviously, how important is that for Cam to continue kind of the development that we're
critical. Those are the two probably most critical areas in offensive success, and the third down pressure packages, the protection part of it, understanding his answers, understanding how to protect himself are really critical. He's done a really nice job, but it's just one of those things you just need constant exposure to, which is great that we're playing against two teams that, we get Tampa, who tends to pressure a bunch. We got Denard, who pressures a bunch. So we're going to get plenty of looks and challenges for him to continue to improve.
How much of a core special teamer do you consider Bryce Oliver, and how much does that maybe give him a leg up in the competition?
Yeah, anytime those receivers are competing for, that 5, 6 spot, 7 spot on the roster, the special teams portion is critical, whether they're returning as a part of that job description, whether they're playing in 3 to 4 phases, which Bryce is capable of doing. And he's got the ability and the body type and the size and speed that you look for a receiver that can contribute on teams. He did a really nice job in the second half of the year for us last year, and he needs to continue that. That certainly gives a a player an advantage, any player on our roster, that if they can be a core special teams player, they certainly increase their likelihood of having a chance to make the roster.
Last question. Where do you see Draymond Jones kind of fitting in that rotation, and what specifically do you like about what he does?
Yeah, I haven't played against Dre when he was in Denver. I always thought he was a really good player, and I know things didn't go the way maybe he hoped they would in Seattle, but there's a really good player there, and what he's capable of as a human of his size, he's about the right stuff. He's very serious, but he can rush. He can rush outside. He can rush inside. He can play as a first and second down outside linebacker for us, and he can be an interior rusher. He can be an outside rusher. So the versatility that he has is really kind of a critical piece. But he's a big, strong, physical man, and that's what we're looking for.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, guys.
There is Tennessee Titans head coach Brian Callahan meeting with the media. Ramon, your number one observation from that press conference was what?
Making this defensive line Baltimore-like. Thought that was huge, just looking at the body types that they've been going at and how they want to control the game, man. He mentioned, it was a question asked about, their ability to get to the quarterback and get guys down. And one of the things he said was crush the pocket type of rushers.
Right.
Put the defensive line or put the offensive line in the lap of the quarterback and make them move. And it seems to me they're trying to cultivate a plan of execution to get the quarterback down. And it's fascinating because I have a second train of thought behind that. And I guess it's because, I guess we don't know what LeJarry Sneed's role going to be, his health. What's the second and third corner is going to look like too. So the best way in order for you to do that is to have a group of soldiers up front to push and collapse. That may give your guys more time down the field. Get
the quarterback off their spot. Yeah. Brian Callahan saying you have to stop the run to earn the right to rush the passer. I like that.
It's some mad D lineman behind that one, man. What you mean? Yeah, because I wrote it down too, Will. I was just like, wait, what did he just say?
I like that.
His quote was, what was it? Really good at defending the run with the privilege to rush the quarterback.
It's good stuff.
That sounds like a coach to me.
What is not good stuff is what is happening in New York this morning, Ramon Foster. Quarterback Justin Fields was carted to the locker room with an apparent lower leg injury at New York Jets training camp. A report from Ralph Facciano, Fox Sports, Bert is nodding, says he was carted back into the locker room. He was riding in the front seat and got up to limp inside when the cart stopped. Riding, it appeared from a distance to be his right foot / leg. Jets coach Aaron Glenn is scheduled to speak after practice.
I'm slow to judge on that one because he's a quarterback.
Fair. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Precautionary, hopefully.
They'll bring a cart out for them with an upper body injury.
Yep. Coming up. Fair enough. That's classic. That's spoken like a man that has seen some. You've played through some stuff as an offensive lineman that maybe some others have not played through at practice. Coming up, the new voice of the Titans, Taylor Zarzour, joining us from Tennessee Titans training camp.
I wish him a speedy recovery.
After this. Oh.
At Genesis, diamonds is not just in the name, man. Diamonds are in their DNA. They dream about diamonds. They obsess about diamonds. Diamonds are their life. They go to the ends of the earth to find the best diamond. They may look at 100 cutters and pick just a few of them to bring back to the showroom. They make sure every diamond has a certain sparkle and brilliance, and they have every diamond graded by the world's most prestigious gem labs. And they guarantee also, man, that these diamonds will be extraordinary. The experts at Genesis are passionate about the diamonds, and they will show you all the inside tips and tricks on how to maximize your value. You're not just going to get this level of quality or expertise in any other store. Certainly not one of those big corporate chains, all right? Genesis is your source for hand-picked GIA-certified diamonds at the guaranteed best price. They'll have ovals, rounds, princess cuts, emerald cuts, heart shapes, pear shapes, cushion cuts, from a half a carat to 20 carat if you want. And to properly showcase these exquisite diamonds, Genesis has the designer settings that other stores can't get. All of the big name bridal designers have handpicked Genesis as their trusted partner, and it's a no-brainer. Genesis is a source here for a ring you can be proud of, whether you're getting married or have been together for decades. Genesis Diamonds with no compromise. They're located in Green Hills and Cool Springs.
It is 9 a.m. Good morning, live from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. Tennessee Titans training camp, day 2, getting started just about 5 minutes ago. Head coach Brian Callahan met with the media earlier and talked about an improved and quick Jeffrey Simmons.
He got leaner, and I think that is the difference. His lean body mass and his strength are still exactly what it was, 20 pounds heavier, but he's got different weight on him, and I think his power is going to be the same. But yesterday, I pointed it out in a team meeting. Jeff was running down, coming out of the stacks, chasing the ball down, and hit 18.2 miles an hour in practice, which for a man of his size is really impressive.
In other Titans news, first reported by Paul Kowarski this morning, the Titans released defensive lineman Keandre Coburn as the move clears way for an addition made last night in former Minnesota Vikings linebacker Jihad Ward. The Titans made the move official, and Ward will wear number 53 for the Titans. Also, yesterday, additions in defensive lineman Timmy Horn. He will wear number 94, and running back Jamar Jefferson, he will wear number 32 for the Titans. Big NFL news this morning per New York Jets beat reporter Brian Costello. Jets quarterback Justin Fields was carted to the locker room during practice with an apparent lower leg injury. More information to come as it becomes available. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go into the fourth and final hour live from Tennessee Titans training camp. Ramon and Will is fueled by Scooters Coffee, locally owned and operated in Middle Tennessee, Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet, alongside the 11-year NFL veteran, Vol Network analyst, Ramon Foster. I'm Will Bowling, joined this morning by the voice of the Titans live from the table, Taylor Zarzour, kind enough to stop by this morning. What's up? How you doing?
Man, Vol Network, Ramon Foster.
That's right.
Look, I'm happy for it, but and it did create an opening for you.
Sure.
So, yeah, but it's still good to have you here at Titans camp, that's for sure.
I'm still available to you, just so you know. I don't know if Amy has told you, Amy Wells has told you, but I have a Sprinter van if we need to drive up to Indy.
Okay.
If we need to go down to the Senior Bowl.
We do.
We call it, I guess I don't even know what the name of the van is at this point. It's Amy's van. Is what
Amy's van.
Amy's van.
Perfect. Well,
and I'm a good driver.
Mobile's my hometown, so we can. I know all the spots there.
See,
but we do. He was wearing a Cardinals hat yesterday.
Yep.
Rome was, and now today he's got the Vols.
I got the Vols.
He's got the alma mater on.
The Conridge Holloway era Tennessee baseball.
That is, man. Conridge was a man.
See, what's crazy is Will doesn't like the Cardinals too, so I might be in bad news over here with him because he's a big Braves fan.
You're good. I'm a suffering Braves fan right now, but that's all right. That's all right.
Yeah, pile into
it.
Yeah, you are.
I'm still in the 5-year window. We've had a championship in the last 5 years. I'm still content for right now. I'm good. I'm telling myself.
As a Red Sox fan, I know nothing about any of this.
Hey, y'all had a good one last night, though. Y'all beat Philly.
Crazy win.
11 innings, man.
Crazy win. Had to have it, too.
Yeah.
I love it. Taylor Zarzour with this first training camp practice yesterday. A lot that we can unpack, a lot that stands out. I know we've talked a lot about Cam Ward, and obviously he's going to get a lot of the headlines as the number one pick in the quarterback. But what stood out to you? What was your headline from day one of Titans training
camp? I think it was when my junior at the University of North Carolina, Katie Zarzour, said, "Dad, how was your first day of school?" That's what really,
the young one.
That's really what stood out. Is just like, wow, Dad, you're trying this new thing. You've been in North Carolina forever. Come back to Nashville. And it was a new world for me yesterday, but all the fans out here that welcomed me, that was powerful. Really deeply appreciated that. Being next to you and realizing how psychotic you are about professional football and just your brain and how it's wired. And
it's like my fiance. It's like how weird my brain is.
Just how passionate you are for this game and just the schemes that every team runs. And, just listening to you talk about Jihad Ward coming in here and coming from that Brian Flores defense. You do. You have an incredible passion for it. But, yeah, I mean, it was just great, just going to every position group. I did the preseason games for the Carolina Panthers for 4 years, so I've spent a lot of time at training camp in recent years. Yeah. So this is not a foreign thing to me to go to training camp at all, but it was the first time in 24 years that I've been to a Tennessee Titans training camp. So it was a lot of fun to be back here and see what the Titans are doing. I do. It is kind of funny because I have all this enthusiasm right now. Like, I am so excited to get going, and it feels like a new time with the Titans. But there are a ton of people that have been around the last 3 years that are like, wah, wah. They are so scorned by what's happened the last 3 years, and I feel none of that. I didn't live it. I mean, from afar, I certainly was aware of it. Sure. But I didn't live it, which I'm kind of glad I didn't live it. If we're being honest. But as the horn sounds right now for practice to start here in day 2, I don't think I'm alone with my enthusiasm. I think Brian Callahan has that enthusiasm. Mike Morganzi and Chad Brinker were not around all that junk that happened the last few years. Cam Ward was not around that junk that happened the last few years. It does feel like a hard reset for this organization right now.
It is, man. You bring up a great point, man, especially from your side coming into I guess what some people say, starting on third base in a sense. That's what Cam Ward has a lot of this fan base feeling like. And even for yourself, being in a position to call his games, that level of excitement, knowing that you potentially have the opportunity to have a call in his rookie year that may be on his offensive rookie of the year reel. That has to be exciting. So I never thought about it the way that you did. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I never thought about it the way you just narrated that one, man. This is a new era, and that's why that excitement behind Cam Ward is so high.
Yeah, listen, I think that Will and Coach Mack and Amy and Rhett and I have a chance to be on the microphone for something really special in the years to come. And I don't know that is going to happen in 2025. I would predict we will see marked improvement everywhere in this organization this year. I'm not going to put a number of wins on that, but I do. I think all of us feel that we are witnessing a step in the right direction with this organization. But in the next few years, whatever year that is, whether we're in the new Nissan Stadium or the old Nissan Stadium, I think that we have an opportunity to be on the microphone for some really special moments in the history of the Tennessee Titans, and it wouldn't surprise me at all. Anytime you let qualified people pick the players and develop the players, they become championship contenders quickly. And it would not surprise me at all if we are documenting the best days of the Tennessee Titans in the next few years.
I love it.
No doubt about it.
It's a privilege. Well, I was talking about that with Amy the other day, like just the ability to be boots on the ground and be in that building in Denver in a couple of weeks, really, a little over a month, that it's going to fly by and be here before we know it. But the opportunity to potentially see Cam make that first start, and Brian Callahan said it yesterday, that Cam has taken the majority of the reps with the ones, and we saw him get the majority of those throws yesterday. But there is an unusual level of maturity and processing speed with Cam, isn't there? That is not normal for quarterbacks that are so early into their NFL careers.
He acts like he's 32 instead of 22.
On and off the field.
Like life isn't fun. You know what I'm saying? And to him, that's to your point. I didn't mean to jump in on that, but Will brought up that point. Like a 30-year-old man that's just in his room all day, like that's how he's approaching this, which is genius. Like, you've been around greats. They're probably weird as heck, to be quite honest about, in a good way is what I mean.
Sure.
There are a lot of people listening know how connected I am to the golf space and all the work that I've done in that space, so I'm often thinking about parallels to that sport. There's two golf comps I'm going to make with Cam Ward. The first is this guy makes mistakes. You saw it at Miami last year. He forces the issue at times. He thinks he can make every single throw. Right. And when he makes a mistake, he birdies the next hole. When he makes a triple bogey, Will, or a double bogey, he is great in what we call the bounce back stat.
Yeah. Right.
He comes back on the next drive, and he's not thinking about that. I think anybody that watched the Titans last year would say that's something that Will Levis struggled with mightily. Yeah. Is after a mistake, you saw more mistakes.
For sure.
We don't see that with Cam Ward. If you look throughout his history, that's one thing. But to your point, Ramon, about his maturity level. He's got some Scotty Scheffler in him. He really does. He's just a level-headed, feels like he's older than he really is kind of guy that is a lunch pail. I want to concentrate on the next rep.
Yeah.
I don't want to think about the Super Bowl or the end. I love the process. This guy, they have to kick him out of this place every day. You know, Brian Callahan comes up with a system and says, this is what I want you to do each day. And then Cam has his own plan that he does on top of that. Like, the guy is so passionate about the process of playing each week. It's a rarity to see somebody that loves practicing as much or if not more than playing. And he really does. And Calvin Ridley was blown away by the guy yesterday. I know he's been around him a lot in the last few months, but Calvin was just like how on time he always is. Like, the speed of the game, and you can speak to this better than anybody, Ramon, but the speed of the college game to the pro game, it's unlike any transition you'll ever make at that sport. And it just doesn't feel like the speed of the game bothers this guy.
Yeah, and that's what, like you said, Calvin really was bragging on. By the way, Calvin's smart. He's staying real close, Taylor. He's bragging about him.
Knows where his bread is buttered.
Real close.
Real close. So he wants that 1,300 yards back from 2021, okay? But to your point about, like, the speed of it, that's so fascinating because I remember my first camp. I got worked. Okay, I'm talking about I'm in a blender. I'm in a mixer. I'm in a spin cycle is what I'm telling you. And here he's got the timing of, that old slow, his eyes have slowed down.
Yeah.
That's when you become a pro. So hearing that he can see and diagnose the way he is right now, he got to go play the game. He going to have to get hit hard as heck. He going to have to be on his back and find his way. But to hear the basics of the game slowing down element to his game this early is super appealing.
Well, I'm not picking on Tua Tagovailoa, but I'm just making a comparison
that's
here.
A great one.
Tua, when the first read isn't open, or at least the first few years in the National Football League, when his first read was not open, whether that was Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, or anyone else, he panicked.
Yeah, bad things would happen.
And I mean, like, bad things to his body would happen, not just bad things to the team. I mean, he panicked.
Right.
This guy is almost better on his second read than he is on his first read. He almost,
I would agree.
He almost is planning. He is, in fact, planning. Okay, well, if 0's not open, where's 5?
Yeah.
Where's 17?
Yeah.
Where's 4? He's looking through that progression, and he's so confident. That's a rarity.
Taylor Zarzour, our guest here from the table at training camp. I want to let him get back to watching practice as team periods and 7-on-7 get started in a minute.
I'm watching the pass rushers today. You guys are talking about what you were watching. I'm watching the pass rushers today. That's
good
what
stuff. I know. I have to make myself watch the defense because I'm so enamored with Cam and these rookie receivers that Ramon was. We were talking to each other just off air yesterday, trying to keep him updated. He was like, "What about the defense?" And I was like, "I need to be locked more in on that." So I may join you on that today.
Awesome. Let's do
Good
it.
stuff. Taylor Zarzour with us. Taylor, thanks so
Thank you,
much.
my friends.
Good to see you.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Practice observations. We'll keep you updated on what's going on in front of us. Coming up next.
The air you breathe in your home comes from your crawl space. Well, have you ever looked in your crawl space? I get it. Most of us don't even want to know what's in there, but I'm here to tell you moisture in your crawl space can create unhealthy issues that make their way into the air you breathe every day in your home. It's Ramon Foster, and this is where United Structural Systems can help you out. USS has been keeping homes dry and stable in Middle Tennessee since 1994, so you know they aren't going anywhere. You can help control moisture and musty smells with mold treatment and crawl space encapsulation that comes with the USS guarantee. Encapsulation helps reduce high humidity in your crawl space. It also helps deter mold and mildew and protects your crawl space from pests and wood rot. So turn your crawl space into a healthy space. Reach out to the company that I trust, man, for all foundation repair and waterproofing need. That's United Structural System. You can go to USSTN.com. That's USSTN.com, or call them 615-488-7855. United Structural Systems.
Ramon and Will on 104.5. The Zone is fueled by Scooters Coffee. A locally owned location is near you in Middle Tennessee. They're in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. Scooters Coffee mobile app, a great download as well. Super easy to use. I did get a notification today, Ramon.
About what?
It's good news from Scooters Coffee. Tomorrow, and I got this last night, so today is National Drive-Thru Day. $2 off any Caramelicious drink through the Scooters Coffee mobile app. That Caramelicious blend of coffee, not too sweet, just hints of caramel roasted into the beans. Terrific.
I'm just telling people, make a smart decision.
The smart decision is to go by one of the many Scooters Coffee Middle Tennessee locations that are locally owned. It's good stuff. We love them, and I appreciate them. Practice getting started. We are watching individual periods and position groups working on their own. Offensive linemen back to our left, one field over.
Combo blocks.
We've got quarterbacks throwing to running backs with trash cans in front of them to our right, and we have wide receivers right in front of us. Ramon, you made an observation a minute ago about one wide receiver who used to play for your former employer.
Yeah.
Now plays for this team in Van Jefferson.
Yes. Big.
Yeah.
Quick. Definitely an athlete that you see him to be, have heard of him being also well. But, man, lean, long arms, man, and has the ability to be quick out of a short space, man, is what I'm getting from him. He snags the ball, too. Again, and I'll say this, too, to people that judge athletes based upon if they're Pro Bowl, All-Pro, or guys that you know from time to time. These dudes are world class. Seeing them move like this is absolutely insane. Well, they're doing a footwork drill right now through the cones, I feel like, through the ladder and catching the ball through contact. Not just any regular Joe can do that, man. This is still top 1% is what we're getting.
Watching Elikiah Manor go through ladder drills, and a ball hits the ground there, thrown by a manager.
Right
and, the two managers hitting him with the red pads as he tries to make a chest-high catch and then able to haul that one in.
And he's back in line, too.
I thought that was interesting from Brian Callahan this morning, Ramon, and speaking about these wide receivers, about the versatility of the two rookies.
Yeah.
Elikiah Manor and Chimere Dike, and Callahan saying they can be X's, they can be F's, they can be Z's, and the different ways you can deploy these two guys. I'm curious how much training camp will dictate that.
Yeah.
And to say, like, hey, when we go to Tampa and go up against the Bucs defense, Elikiah Manor had success in this spot and this spot, but maybe not as much as a Z or an F or things like that, and he's not as much of a slot as DK is. Just using that as an example of the different positions you can put these guys in. How much of these roles, Ramon, for offensive weapons and pass catchers are up for grabs? Meaning, like, how much do these couple of weeks dictate where these guys will play within the offense?
You stole my thunder because that was the first thing I was going to say. Whatever they're going to be, it needs to happen in these first 2 weeks. Period, Will. Like the establishment that you can make combat catches, the establishment that you can get open early, as far as the play goes, your ability to be in the right spot all the doggone time, it has to happen now, because at some point in time, too, this training camp becomes a game planning camp. It becomes preparation for the season.
It's not just player development. Can we get ready for certain opponents on our schedule?
We are incorporating game plans at a certain point in time, because camp is cool for building up a team, but it's also to set you up for the season too. How are you going to make plays for you? So if that is, I heard somebody ask a question about Elikiah Manor's footwork and his ability to be good on the ladder drill with his feet. And if he shows that he can make plays, that ladder drill won't matter in the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So whatever the coaches are asking him, there will be a multitude of things thrown at him. I think Callahan said in his press conference too, like almost the entire book has been thrown. It's a matter of when you get in and get your reps, and do you maximize those reps, even if the ball doesn't come your way for those two young guys.
Brian Callahan set a standard this morning when speaking about Traylon Burks, mentioning that the next step for Trey, he says, is production. Says he has to find the production and make the plays when you have an opportunity to make them. That is the step he has to take for us. Callahan adding, when the time comes to produce, he has to produce. He is a fantastic person in the building. Hopefully he can find a way to get the production he needs. That is the step he's got to take. That is not an accidental statement by Brian Callahan. To say finding the production he needs I'll fill in the rest of that sentence for Callahan that he didn't say. Production, he needs to make the roster.
Yeah, man.
He is very much, Traylon Burks, Ramon, in a roster battle. How surprised would you be if Traylon Burks makes this team?
I'll be very surprised.
Okay.
I think the talent and competition has elevated itself. I feel like they've went out and got guys like a Van Jefferson is very much like his type. I feel like I look at Alec Ayumana and say he's his type. I look at the other dudes that are playing at other positions, the way this offense seems like it can spread the ball out and say, Traylon, where have you established yourself as your strongest attribute? And it's nowhere.
Right.
And these other guys have new, fresh opportunities. And to your point, it sucks for him, Will, because he said something that wasn't disrespectful, but he's like, he's a great guy in the building. Ron Slater has a good guy board. The good guys, you just speak about the person. We want to talk about how good of a player he is.
Right.
That's the issue that he has right now. But there is, Will, to your point, opportunity. And that's what this training camp is. He can change the entire narrative of what he is by what and how he performs. And not just that, man. It's his ability to make plays. I mean, to be quite honest with you, in this calendar year, and I got to give last year credit, too, with some of the guys that have been here, but the way their sports science has been cultivated over the last calendar year, every single position group out here, to me, looks different. They look faster.
How so?
I'm looking at the offensive line right now and the way they're working. They're coming off, and they're not really supposed to be shoulder to shoulder, and they're not. So, NFLPA, be cool. But what I'm saying is this. Everything is full speed. Everything's look faster. Everything looks concise. Even when they were doing their warm-up drills and how they came about warming up, it was fast.
Yeah.
It was organized, and it was exactly as they needed to be. So you better get on this train.
There's an intentionality to everything they're doing.
Intentional.
Right. I think, too, especially when you're playing in Denver in week 1, the cardiovascular health is critical. And your ability to start fast this season with, let's be honest, a little bit of a water slide at the end of the schedule. Yeah. You don't leave the city of Nashville in the month of November. You have more manageable opponents later in the season. A fast start just to keep yourself from dropping your head a little bit when things start to go wrong and give yourself a chance to be relevant in this division late in the season will require probably getting some games you're not, quote-unquote, supposed to get in terms of the odds makers' perspective, in terms of talking heads' perspectives. This team has to start fast just to keep themselves in contact with the rest of the division.
They do. Because
it's a tough start to the schedule.
It almost feels like speed and power is it. And I know that's like a stereotypical football cliche, big and fast and powerful, all that type of stuff. But just watching the movement of these guys, well, to your point, it needs to be one of their strongest attributes on how they're going to attack people. It's viewed, of course, before the season kicked off. This isn't one of the best rosters to Philly or to, you know what I'm saying? It's a different.
There's a lot of question marks.
There's question marks.
Chad Brinker said it the other day. There's not a lot of star power on this roster, but I'm paraphrasing. He said, we feel like we've got some guys who could turn into stars.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
now's the time to turn into it.
They got to be able to use those things, and that's why I think it's got to be a kiss. As I said yesterday, man, keep it simple, stupid on how you're going to go about staying competitive and in games. And I feel like defensively and offensively, they're trying to attack that. By the way, I got to say, I told you I was watching Gunnar Helm. He's quick off the line of scrimmage for his size.
He is quick. He is quick. Almost had a one-handed catch right in front of us a minute ago. And, again, these are still routes on air. This is just warming up, and quarterbacks working on timing with wide receivers. So as soon as team periods begin and we can tell you that an offense is playing against a defense, we will narrate it for you and keep you updated. But
best
at
news
the
of the
moment,
day so far?
What's that?
There's a breeze out here.
Yeah, there is a breeze.
There's a breeze out here, dog.
There is a breeze out here. It feels nice. It feels comfortable.
Absolutely.
7-on-7 to start in a minute. Let's do what we did yesterday, Ramon. In the F&M Bank chat, let's head to just the 104.5 The Zone YouTube channel. We love our friends watching on Facebook Live, Twitch, and Twitter. We appreciate you. And we invite you to hit the subscribe button while you are there. However, most of our community is on the 104.5 The Zone YouTube channel. Hit the comment section. Who do you want to hear about? We will observe what a certain player is doing as soon as you ask about him and as soon as you want to see him. So you can get in line first right there in the F&M Bank chat at 104.5 The Zone TV, youtube.com/1045 The Zone TV, where you can join us on the 104.5 The Zone YouTube channel. Here is Cam Ward, little route on air, right side, pass caught by his former Miami Hurricane teammate, Xavier Restrepo. What you got?
Does Chig look more lean to you?
I think he does. I think Chig looks like a big slot receiver.
Thank you. I was hoping my eyes wouldn't.
No, I think
All
the
right.
team in general, Ramon, and I don't think this is just because we are looking for it. This team does look leaner and quicker.
Yes.
And I don't know. I just think that is it has the potential to keep them healthier throughout this season.
No doubt.
That is a big point of emphasis. Anytime you talk to anybody in this facility on something that they really wanted to do this season.
Yeah, man, because physical conditioning precedes anything else, man. That's why. You know, like if you're in shape, you're well conditioned, or at least you look like you remove the excuses of, well, if he was in better shape. Coach, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to play that game anymore.
A lot of questions here early, a couple of them on YouTube. Kevin Winston Jr. questions. We are watching the defensive backs get warmed up on the middle field to our right. They're about to make their way over here, so we can certainly watch Kevin Winston Jr. closely as 7-on-7 begins. They're not throwing Kevin Winston Jr. into the fire yet, are they, Ramon?
No, Mac alluded to that earlier,
yeah,
right?
we did not really notice him being super involved yesterday. I think he's someone that the staff is really trying to just get his feet wet a little bit and kind of slowly implement him in. I will tell you that talking to people about him back in June, Kevin Winston Jr. is a student, and he is the type, and Ramon, you can speak to this better than me, there are people that are there for practice when they're hurt, who are just watching, who are hanging out. Then there are people who are locked in on practice.
Facts.
And Kevin Winston Jr., the number one thing you hear about him is he is locked into everything that is happening. He is envisioning himself doing what the defense is doing, and he's the type of guy they've had to really hold him back from getting on the field in June and in minicamp.
Yes, and that's the thing about it. I played with a young guy, Vol, actually, man, that lived that life for a little bit too, Cameron Sutton.
Yeah,
he was injured coming in training camp his rookie year. And by the time he got to the field, with the time he spent on the sideline, ended up calling him like a player coach because he knew everything that he was supposed to do in those movements. Now, getting his footwork down, catching up to speed, but as far as him knowing the defense and being ready to go, that pays dividends, man, to the smart guys that play that. By the way, Van Jefferson, effortless.
Beautiful deep ball from Cam Ward just now. Again, these are routes on air. There's no defense, but a flick of the wrist about 40 yards in the air and a perfect chest-high catch at a full sprint by Van Jefferson.
Absolutely.
Question on YouTube. Who will be the other inside linebacker, off-ball linebacker? Ramon Foster, at this point, I think James Williams is the starter next to Cody Barton.
I ain't going to discount Cedric. Cedric's played it more.
I think they want it to be James Williams. You talk about this a lot, that sometimes coaches go into a camp or go into a time of year wanting someone to win the job. I think with James's skill set as a coverage guy and as a former safety,
I agree.
He looks like a different player so far in terms of the way he has slimmed down and he looks leaner and he is playing a lot faster.
It adds a different weapon with him out there with his pass as far as knowing coverages, being comfortable in space also. And then here's the other part. It ain't many linebackers his size. Imagine the radius, you know what I'm saying, the diameter that he's covering with his arms, his limb, and his athleticism. Again, we bring this up often, but this guy's a former 5-star. The talent somewhere in there. It's on him to match that opportunity with how he plays and shows himself in this training camp moving forward, because if there was ever a year for him to be a starter, in my personal opinion, it's this one. And he can change that entire narrative about what his college turned into and where he was drafted, et cetera, you know?
I do have some audio from Brian Callahan this morning on James Williams' improvement, if you want to hear it.
Let's hear it.
Man,
Go for it.
Yeah, James has done a really nice job. He's matured from his first year to his second, starting to understand the position more because, keep in mind he was a converted safety. So playing in the box was maybe not in the box necessarily, but at the linebacker position with your eyes and your reads and how quickly you have to diagnose and react. Those things have improved leaps and bounds from his first year to his second year. And you combine that kind of mental improvement with his maturity, and he's put himself in a really nice position. So again, we'll find out a whole lot more when we put our pads on. That'll be pretty revealing, but I'm really pleased with where James is at.
So that is Brian Callahan talking about James Williams. Thank you, Jayhawk, for that.
Appreciate that, Hawk.
Improving leaps and bounds. He is someone, and Coach Mack has talked about this a lot. It's just a tough position to evaluate before pads come on.
It is.
It really is. And his ability to take a guy down to the ground as quickly as he plays, making mistakes quickly and still being aggressive and not thinking. And for someone that is learning the inside linebacker position in real time, I want to see that play speed and that aggressiveness continue when there are consequences for your mistakes.
Absolutely.
And that is more the case when if you're in the wrong gap and you miss a guy maybe in the run game, you are not punished for that as much when that guy can't be tackled. Right?
Absolutely, and that's where Callahan mentioned right there a second ago. Like he mentioned getting more comfortable in that space. He's going from working with the entire back end of the defense where he can just roam right naturally to where he's got to be good with those bigs, getting on them quick, seeing and diagnosing. And also if he's got an element of physicality to his game as it pertains to playing defense at the second level, well, that's going to go far for a guy like him, man. Again, you love what you think he could be, but he's got to go do it. It's just like a guy going from tackle to guard. We speak about that with Peter Skoronski, right? That adjustment period. I feel like that's where James Williams is at right now.
We have news on Justin Fields, Ramon Foster, who was carted off at New York Jets camp. We're going to give you that news here and then get right back to what we're watching in front of us. Justin Fields suffered a right toe injury. According to head coach Aaron Glenn, he is still being examined based on the severity of what that is. And Aaron Glenn says that he assumes someone stepped on his toe. Ramon is not happy.
You got the show. Go ahead. You got it. You got it.
Ramon's exact words were like, he'll be fine. Quarterbacks get carted off all the time for nothing.
Hey, man, you see.
How many times did your toe get stepped on in practice and you kept
Look at him
going?
right now. I'm just now getting them back clear. I just went to
And
the
straight,
dog.
right?
Oh, my gosh, Will. Look, I'm wearing open-toe sandals right
Ramon
now.
Foster is
because
unbothered by Justin Fields being stepped
how
on.
my feet got stepped on for years, man. I went to a doctor for this, and we out here at breaking news sounder for Justin Fields for a toe. A stepped-on toe. Oh, my gosh, man. I told you. Didn't I tell you? I told you.
You told me.
Man.
You didn't tell me right on the way Dylan is spelled, but you told me right on that one.
You know what? That's beauty of your education.
Speaking of Kevin Winston Jr., we've had a ton of questions about him from the last couple of minutes. He going with the sleeveless jersey today, and the he's built a little bit like James Williams.
Yeah, he is.
As a 6'2" safety, as this longer-limbed guy.
Yeah.
There are not a lot of safeties, or heck, there are not a lot of human beings built the way Kevin Winston Jr. is built.
And Coach Mack alluded to it, too. He didn't slip because of performance. He slipped because of injury.
Right. He did. I think 3 safety looks will be very common for this defense this season and what Darren Wilson wants to do. And it's just becoming more common in the NFL. I mean, again, nickel packages are essentially base defenses at this point.
The athletes change, man.
Let's watch.
Has.
Yeah, that's right. Let's watch one more Cam Ward throw and then get you to our last break, and then that way we can talk about some live offense versus defense on the other side. There's Cam to Jaquan Jackson. A big camp for Jaquan Jackson, Ramon.
Yeah, it is. No,
because he has kind of been replaced by Chimere Dike.
Yeah. No, seriously.
I mean, exact same player. Punt returner, slot receiver, smaller, quicker guy. That's exactly what Jaquan is.
He better show for this camp or some other 31 other team camp, Will, is what he's got to do at this point because, that's just how the game goes.
Mm-hmm. Sure is.
I can't believe we had that for Justin
All
Fields.
that for a toe. Coming up, more live practice observations. Ramon and Will, fueled by Scooter's Coffee on 104.5 The Zone.
It's Ramon Foster for Brian's Motorsports. Yes, that Brian's Motorsports, man. They're located, if you did not know, 789 West Main Street in Hendersonville, Tennessee, man, where they believe this: dream, build, design. Whatever you're thinking of, and I mean whatever you're thinking of, from just regular tint to wheels to tires to a lift, they can do it for you, man. They've done it for me on multiple vehicles of mine, or just a quick fix from Brian. He's able to do that for you too, man. If you're a Jeep Bronco owner, man, that wants the ultimate off-road package, Brian's Motorsports is an undisputed leader in this area, man. Brian's Motorsports can give you an aggressive off-road appearance and performance that has made Brian's Motorsports an undisputed leader of off-road upgrades, man. They offer tire and wheel packages, lift kits I told you about, lighting kits, winches, interior and audio customizations, graphics, and a combination of everything listed from mile to mile to make your off-road experience what you've dreamed of. So, as I said before, man, visit Brian's Motorsports. They're located in Hendersonville, Tennessee. You can hit up all their social medias, man, at Brian's Motorsports, and be sure to tell them that Ramon sent you.
Ramon and Will, fueled by Scooters Coffee at 104.5 The Zone. Wrapping up the show. Ramona, you got a co-host with you.
I do, man. I got Emmett with me, man. Baby Emmett. I want to call him Carlos like off the off the Hangover, but I can't do that. His mom is right here. We didn't lose his mom. I got Emmett with me, though, because Mom love the kids, man.
So many of our listeners and Zone family here saying hello. Appreciate all you guys. And Emmett, one of our littlest listeners.
He is, man.
What's
Emmett,
up?
Just aware.
Yeah.
Aware.
Just watching football, just hanging out.
Titans.
Just having a Thursday.
Mama, he chilling right now.
I love it.
That's what I'm talking about. We're going to talk ball and babysit, Will. Let's do it.
All right. Well, Titans are continuing to install some things in front of us. Obviously, can't get into too many specifics on exactly what they are installing.
JC does look good.
Ramon, how much did you hate when, as a backup offensive lineman, you had to basically be a defensive lineman for a walkthrough and install period?
One of my strongest motivations on becoming a starter.
Yeah, was to not have
I'm
to
not about to be your punching
be Jeffrey Simmons?
No, absolutely not. Here I am attempting pass rush moves and stuff like that. And come on, baby Carlos, let's put these on. You want to put these on?
You are ridiculous.
I know, man.
I'm always in dad mode.
Sir, I am always in dad mode, man. But
usually it's just keeping me in line. Who's going to watch me?
But seriously, man, that is a job, I would say this too, that you have to do right because you're judged on that. No. Fatherhood, you better do that right. I got a lot of tips for you later in life.
Babysitting?
Okay, but what I'm saying, like, if you don't show the best look, then you don't prepare the team. Carlos, are we done now? I mean, Emmett. I'm calling him Carlos now, for real.
Should be his nickname.
Hey, you were good. You were good. And he got fit, man.
Nice to meet you.
Bye-bye. Give me some knucks. Hey, I got knuckles. Here we go.
I love it.
That was good right there, man. Thank you for letting me borrow Emmett.
I love it.
But if you don't do that right, your coaches will rip you. I've seen guys get cut on not giving a good look before, Will. Like, it genuinely does matter, man, on those guys. And you're going to be tired, but guess what they're going to tell you? Become a starter.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a brutal game, but it's a beautiful one too, Will.
Practice continuing, and again, I think now, Ramon, right at the end here, we are going to get a little bit of offense versus defense for the people as the defensive backs are trotting over towards the near field.
Yeah.
And we can watch a little bit of 7-on-7 to start off things. Good stuff. Saturday, by the way, again, we're looking forward to being inside Nissan Stadium and watching the open practice. Again, you can head to SeatGeek, head to TennesseeTitans.com to claim your spots. And Brian Callahan mentioned earlier this morning some red zone periods, some situational stuff expected at the open practice Saturday. That's going to be fun to watch because that is going to be probably as much of a competitive period as we have seen so far. And Brian mentioning Coach Callie saying there is an acclimation period they're kind of in right now. They're getting stuff installed. They're getting – listen, you don't want to run too many 30-yard go routes at this point because hamstrings are not very big fans of go routes in July.
Yeah.
But you will see some competitiveness, and you will see Cam Ward throw against the defense trying to intercept him and stop him on Saturday.
In real time, I almost gave away state secrets right there, which I can't, but I saw somebody we spoke about that's out here with some ones, Will.
That's right. 7-on-7 about to start. We'll do some play-by-play for you.
That says a lot with what we're seeing right now, too. By the way, it's so cool to see these guys wearing these retro cleats. Deion Sanders shoes, the old turfs that he had on, man, pretty sweet. And Oladejo, he's nonstop.
Femi Oladejo looks like if you built an edge rusher in a lab.
Yeah, he does.
And he's gone shorts today. He said on the Buck Rising show yesterday he regretted sweatpants.
You were right about your proclamation earlier, too.
About inside linebackers?
Yeah.
Go back, hit the Zone Podcast Network if you missed it. All right, here we go. Cam Ward, 7-on-7. Let's do it. Ready for snap number one. Throw number one against the defense today. Cam on play action. Going to drop back. Looking. Throws over the middle. Intercepted. Cody Barton.
And coverage.
With an interception on Cameron Ward on his first throw of practice today. So that is, I believe, Ramon, the third interception that Cody Barton has had on Cam Ward in this offseason. And now James Williams is doing the Zombieland celebration to Cam. That's tough.
Hey, for a guy that had questions about his coverage skills, S is 7-on-7. But, Will, the skill set is there as far as him being able to drop back right there. By the way, I will say the timing is the thing. Calvin was open way sooner.
That was a professional jinxing, by the way.
Get it out the way.
Get it out the way.
That's one thing I have power to do is jinx. Here's Cam for throw number 2 after the interception, and 7-on-7 goes over the middle, and there is his favorite target, Alec Manor.
Smart right there, too. If you looked at the linebacker core right there, that second level, everybody dropped back in the zone right there. Will he had to take what was underneath, what was right in front of him. You dumped it off, you live another down. Now we got third down. By the way, if you ever thought that you wanted to work for an NFL team, you're going to have 15 different jobs. They got a guy here in some regular clothes that's snapping the ball to Cam Ward. I know he's not a player. He's not on the 90 is what I'm telling you.
Right. All right. Third play for Cam here. These are ones versus ones for 7-on-7. Already got a comment on YouTube saying, we're cooked, LOL. Yes, 1 interception in July. We're so cooked. So cooked. Here goes Cam again. A little Ridley versus Brownlee here. Going to be fun to watch. They drop in zone. Cam throws left side. Sideline caught by Lockett. Past the sticks for a first down Titans.
Yep, first downs.
And a good accurate throw. That was Cam standing on the right hash mark, throwing to the left boundary, and in stride, Lockett able to get 2 feet in right on the sideline.
I'm going to be real. Adjust y'all's thoughts to what a football is supposed to look like coming out of Cam's hand. It doesn't look like you're supposed to throw the ball like that.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't. It just comes out like, and it's
kind of flat, isn't it?
It's flat, but it's got touch to it.
Yeah,
I don't know how to
spin.
explain it.
It's got spin to it.
I don't know how to explain it.
All right, we got time for 2 more plays. Maybe 3, if they go quick. Here's Cam again. 7-on-7. Takes the snap. Looking left. Doesn't have anything. Swings it out. Tajay Spears is wide open. And Tajay Spears is going to wheel upfield past the 50, and he will get first down yardage.
Defense with real good coverage right there, man. Cam scanned left to right, middle, and then threw it out to the flats, out to the right to Tajay, man. Again, it's good decisions. You ain't every meal is not a feast. Looking at that interception, and I thought he did have Calvin. But, of course, this is the NFL, Will. These guys are athletes, man. You got the 1%ers here.
All right, so that is Cam Ward's first crack at 7-on-7 as Brandon Allen and the next group make their way onto the field. Get one Brandon Allen throw here before we get you on your way to the Buck Rising Show. A little swing pass to Julius Chestnut. And
Amani,
there you go.
Amani quick
There's
to the flats
start
right
of
there.
practice number 2. Ramon Foster, good stuff.
Amani Hooker, man, was quick to the flats right there.
Sure was. Back at it tomorrow morning. We will be back in studio. Brent Hubbs will join us with the latest on the Boo Carter fiasco at 7:20. Ron Slay will stop by. That's Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer to you. Ron Slay at 9:20. And more practice observations. We'll see who we can talk to coming off the practice field today that we can get you tomorrow. That is your Friday on Ramon and Will.
Hey, and remember your Twitter fingers and your mic is always hot, baby.